All right, welcome in. Apologize a little bit for a little late start here. Once again, we're in the lobby today as we've had a little technical blowout with our switcher. If you were on yesterday's show, you heard us talk a little bit about that as it went for about 585 live shows. And we've got another one that should arrive here today, thanks to the wonderful folks at a not sponsored shipping company. If they will jump on with us, we'll mention them all the time. That's Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. I'm Jim Dunaway. The whole crew is helping put this whole thing on together. Our Bud Light game night tonight is at Crestwood Tavern. We'll be out there 5 to 7 this evening, getting ready for a really good Thursday night NFL football game. We'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on, and a ton of college football. Tomorrow, we're live in Atlanta for the SEC Championship on the road over there. College Football Hall of Fame?
That is correct.
Yeah.
We'll be at the College Football Hall of Fame. If you're familiar with it, you might know the Goodyear Blimp exhibit. I don't know what that says about us. They're putting us in the Goodyear Blimp exhibit, but that's where they're putting us. So if you're by, we suggest you visit the College Football Hall of Fame. It's an amazing place, really cool spot. And you can come by and say hello to us at the Goodyear Blimp exhibit up on the second level overlooking the field there. That's where we'll be.
So let's jump into everything going on before we get to football. Again, Brownie will have your comments throughout the day as we work our way through the chat and much more. Hydra Live gives us our on-the-court update on Auburn from last night, LT.
Yeah, IV therapy, B12 injections, compression therapy, cryotherapy, all under one roof. If you can't make it to Hydra Live, guess what? A nurse can actually come to you. 2 locations here in Birmingham, the newest in Greystone, one in Homewood that are open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., 7 days a week. Again, if you can't make it out there, somebody can come to you. For more information, hydralifetherapy.com. Very important. Mention next round at checkout. You're going to get 20% off any of those great services from our friends at Hydra Life.
ACC SEC Challenge ends up 7-7, so they split it right down the middle. And really, I blame Alabama for the SEC not winning this thing.
Wow.
Alabama not beating Clemson when Alabama's a ranked team at home against an unranked Clemson team. That's the sort of the Jenga block that lets this thing fall down to where the SEC doesn't walk away with the crown. But a 7-7 tie. Auburn does their part against an unranked Virginia Tech team last night. As I put my money at mybookie.ag on Auburn -10 last night, they let the Hokies hang around for a while around that 9 and 10 number. But in the end, Janai Broome was just a beast, best player on the floor.
Yeah, look, and I said this last year watching Broome. This is one of those guys that'll probably hang around for the full eligibility he's got. And he could become a monster at the college game. Now, I don't know what his opportunities are at the next level. Probably will play overseas and make a lot of money and see a lot of the world. But last night, the matchup was him against Lynn Kidd. And Lynn Kidd was kind of their version of Broome, Virginia Tech, a guy that was averaging about a double-double. And he was completely taken out of the game. And Broome dominated.
Yeah.
And on the other side, as good as Holloway is going to be, he's one of those kids that he can shoot you in a game and probably early on can shoot you out of a game.
Well, he does so much running the offense. Auburn's turnovers are way down this year with him at the point. Trey Donaldson had another big game, but Aiden Holloway, to your point, 21 minutes last night in 0 points. Didn't hit a field goal, didn't hit a three-pointer, couldn't get in the scoring sheet, played only 21 minutes last night because his shooting was not there last night, was getting better guard play from other folks.
Yeah, and then the Mazzara kid coming off the bench. I mean, that was the spark off the bench. And, fortunately for Bruce, a lot of guys got minutes last night. They never trailed in that game. And Virginia Tech coming off that 34-point loss to Florida Atlantic that looked kind of lost last night.
A guy named Scott Scroggins. If you're an Auburn fan, he does a really good Twitter. He's a good Twitter follow. He's called Scroggins Noggin, which is a bunch of Auburn stats. So, like I said, if you're an Auburn fan, he'll give you some stats there. And he gave you this one last night. The first time Auburn has held an opponent to 60 or less points in 4 straight games since 2007. So Auburn is playing a defensive level that they haven't played in quite a while too.
Yeah.
That's really impressive right there. If they play defense like that, that is a very dangerous team.
The concern I had about Alabama yesterday on the show was their lack of physicality. They just aren't manning up defensively like Nate Oates wants at this point. Just the opposite for Auburn. Bruce Pearl really impressed at the number of turnovers they forced on the Hokies last night, and a big win there in 27% field goal percentage. for the Hokies. That's just a really good defense from Auburn last night. You've got now 48 consecutive out-of-conference wins down at Neville Arena, and they played the Oklahomas and some like that. Now, they've lost some SEC games, including to Alabama there last year, but it's a special place to play, packed again last night, and this Auburn team gets a win in the ACC SEC Challenge, and they now go on the road to Boone, North Carolina to play Appalachian State coming up on Saturday. The other games, though, was very interesting. I told you yesterday on the show I liked Arkansas against Duke, and they stuck the landing. They beat number 7 Duke in Fayetteville last night. It was the best game the Hogs have played so far.
Well, the biggest story of that, not only was Arkansas kind of limping in at 4-3, but Bobby Petrino sitting side by side with Sam Pittman.
Yeah. And looking all happy too. You don't see Bobby P smile a lot.
I know Arkansas fans are excited. It's the Duke brand. It's the ultimate blue blood, or one of the ultimate blue bloods when it comes to college basketball. But storming the court,
yeah, absolutely. You're
better than that.
Come on, man! You just beat number 7 Duke.
Arkansas's a team that they've won championships.
But see, you're looking at it like Alabama fans look at storming the field. It's just something we don't do. Michigan storms the field after beating Ohio State the other day. It's in Ohio State's a great program. So is Michigan. I mean, it's not just for the underdogs of the world to rush the field. It's the end thing to do when you get a big win. Yeah, that was a big win for this Arkansas team over number 7 Duke.
Yeah, but it's still a Duke team that's 5-2 early on.
Yeah,
it's
but
not a great Duke team. It is a brand.
It's going to take a long time.
I like the spontaneity. I mean, you just heard, or you're going to hear, possibly an Alabama player talking about, hey, we need you guys to clear the way because we're about to storm the field. I just don't like the pre-planned storming of the field. Or the storming of the court.
It happens all the time.
I trust me. I know it does.
I think that just shows you, though. I mean, I don't know what Shire will do long time at Duke. I don't know how you grade what he's done so far at Duke.
Oh, this is a really good basketball team that Arkansas beat last night. Yes.
I mean, is it Coach K level? I don't know. Coach K had some teams that are probably 5-2 through their first 7 games.
Right.
But I think this shows you how long it will take for that brand to die. That Duke brand, if he's not successful. If he's successful, the brand is not dying.
Yeah.
But if he's not successful, that brand will. That's good. That is a Duke brand that 3 years from now, if they're a 500 squad, there'll be somebody wanting to rush the court because they beat Duke at their place.
Yeah. They've got 2 losses. Their other loss was to who?
It was.
I mean, they usually play nothing but name brands.
Yeah.
So this team was number 7 in the country last night. So it was a big win for Arkansas there. And I think, if I remember correctly, didn't Musselman, did he take his shirt off when they beat Alabama or when they beat Auburn or both?
Well, he likes it.
I think they've rushed the court on both of them in recent years. They just like to rush the court in a lot of places.
I mean, look, I guess it makes sense if you've got a coach that takes his shirt off. Why not rush the court every time you win a game?
The most surprising outcome last night was North Carolina beating Tennessee. In the end, it was only 100-92. And the fact that North Carolina could score 100 on Tennessee's defense tells you they didn't play the kind of basketball that Tennessee usually plays. It was the worst half of basketball I've ever seen Tennessee play under that coaching staff, honest to goodness. It was a bad first half. They were down by a ton at intermission. I think it was 61-39, something like that. But they battled back and got inside, 10 late in the game, under 2 minutes, and had a chance, if a couple of things had bounced right, to have an opportunity to maybe, put a little pressure on North Carolina in the final seconds. They never got close enough. They lose by 8, but that was a surprising outcome in the ACC SEC Challenge last night. Virginia beat A&M. Wake Forest beat Florida. Boston College beat Vandy for the 4 ACC wins last night. We told you about Auburn and Arkansas. Also, Georgia beat Florida State, coming back 68-66. So it ends up 7-7 for the men in the SEC ACC Challenge. We will look forward to that next year when you add SMU and Louisville and Texas and Oklahoma into that mix. That is really good basketball. Show being brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. They bring you the steak bat every day, and also just a great place to go and get grilling going this weekend. I don't know about you guys, this time of year, when you can get 62 and sunny like yesterday, perfect day to be outside, and you fire up the grill. It's fantastic, LT.
Yeah, pick up the finest fillets, chicken, of course, those in-house made sides. They're fantastic as well. Desserts, fine wine. Stop in, see Jim and all the fine folks. Rare quality, well-done service. 2 locations, the original in Cava Heights and one right there in Greystone on Highway 119. It is the New York Butcher Shop.
And also the Pants Store, your game day gear, getting ready maybe to go over to the SEC championship. Go ahead and get some new Bama gear to go over there and show it off in front of the dogs. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Pantstore.com. Pantstore.com. 6 locations: Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa. Ladies, all your game day gear is there. And for the men, you get your Elephant Head, Taylor and Mick, Cutter and Buck, and Gentile. The game day polos, the hats, the quarter zips. It's pantstore.com, and perfect for the holidays as well. Brownie, you got something.
Let's go to Roman Harper. He is the Alabama great now, the SEC network, and he is with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Harp joins us each week at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to mybookie.ag. They will give you that deposit match at 50% up to $1,000. Harp on the road already. What's going on, Harp? How are you?
What's good, fellas? First of all, man, shout out to you guys, man. You guys got more sponsors now than you just barking out all kinds of things going on. You know, we got pants.com. I mean, man, this is nice. We can pick up polos. We're selling steaks, fillets, chicken. I mean, stop next round. You get it all here. Sports, highlights, and merchandise. It's
That's
beautiful,
right.
guys.
Don't have to go anywhere.
Hey, so Harp, an incredible Iron Bowl, obviously. Let me ask you this: as we roll into the SEC championship, and we'll go back and forth here. You played in Iron Bowls, you played in Pro Bowls, you played in Super Bowls. Is this the one game that really, when you look back in retrospect, the one you really regret never playing in, the SEC championship?
You know what? I guess so, man, because, one time we were supposed to play in it, but we were on probation. We couldn't. That was like, my redshirt freshman year, sophomore year, redshirt freshman year. And then the last time, my senior year, we were going to be able to get it, and then we lost to LSU. So, it kind of stinks. But, everything has its purpose. It has its reason. And I think it would have been really cool to at least see what that atmosphere would have been like to be able to go to Atlanta, play that team on the East, to really say, okay, we were SEC champs. But I try not to look into the past, but I understand how much this game means to so many people. I think it's just a great atmosphere. And this is another opportunity for these two great storied programs to match up. It's historically the last 8 years been the two best college football programs in the country. And we get to see them again. And these things never disappoint us. This Georgia-Alabama matchup never disappoints us. It never quite ends up the way you think it's going to be. It's always something out there that we do not see. And I'm sure that will happen again on Saturday.
I asked a former coach, a college coach, and the other day, Brock Bowers, the best way for Alabama to defend him is who? And he said, without hesitation, Caleb Downs. He goes, if I had to pick anybody in that secondary that I think would do the best job on Brock Bowers, it would be the freshman safety, Caleb Downs. Now, that's not to say anybody can take Bowers completely out of the game, but do you see the same thing when you look at Bama secondary?
No, not really. But, I mean, Terry Arnold's the best one. But it'll be interesting to see. Look, my only question mark is this with Georgia is going to be health concerns. Who's healthy and who's not? Last week they played against Georgia Tech. They treated it like a third preseason game. They didn't play half their guys. So who's going to be healthy this game? And that's going to determine how. Because when I watch these teams, I always like, okay, what's your way to victory? And for Georgia right now, after watching the Alabama tape last week, Georgia thinks, hey, maybe we can beat them up. We can run this football with Kendall Milton and Dejon Edwards. That, hey, we can get the ball rolling on that part. But they've naturally been a throw-first team all year long with Carson Beck. But without Brock Bowers, without Ra Thomas, without Ladd McConkey, like, what is the health situation? And are those two – without those guys, which I'm sure they're going to play, but with those guys, how healthy are they and how effective are they versus the Alabama team who's actually on defense? Their secondary is the strongest part of that defense. So, like, how does that matchup go? If I'm Alabama, I'm like, bring it on. I like it. So that's where I'm looking at where, okay, who's going to have the advantage? You think Georgia, but Alabama's strong in the secondary. They think it's matched up on us. It's our favor. So, I anticipate Kendall Milton having a big game for Georgia if they want to win this game and really turn into a grinded out, running the football straight downhill. Auburn did it more effectively last week with a little bit more smoke and mirrors, a little bit more quarterback run, a little bit more motion, but free snap motion and some other things, getting guys moving. But we're going to see how Georgia handles those things, takes a little bit of that out of their Auburn playbook, institutes it into their own, but they're not going to use quarterback run. So how they're going to get it, I don't know. But those are the things that I'm talking about. I know exactly how this game is going to play out after the first quarter and a half.
How much does an offensive coordinator try to scheme Brock Bowers to get him matched up against one of your linebackers? Is that always the goal for a tight end like Bowers, to try to get him on a linebacker? And how does Alabama linebackers, how do they cover guys? Are they pretty good in coverage?
They're okay. They're not great at it, but honestly, you don't have to do that. You don't have to worry about that with Brock Bowers. You just scheme up plays for Brock Bowers. He'll handle the rest. It doesn't matter who's on him. He's been that good since he's gotten to college. And that was kind of I didn't answer the last question, which is, you don't cover Brock Bowers. Like, he's going to do what he does. The biggest thing is you want to limit these guys to the big plays and don't allow them to get it on their terms. When they want to call a fake wheel route or a throw to another person and really get Brock Bowers open on a wheel route, you cover it. Like, those are the plays you got to take away, because the underneath stuff, the normal stuff, he's going to get those where they just swing it out to him. You're not going to be able to stop him like that. But when they want to get him, or when they have these set up special plays in these certain situations where they want to take a shot down the field with these guys, and you take that away, that is a win for the defense. That's how you got to think your wins and losses, especially versus a Georgia team who's talented, that spreads the ball all over. There's so many different talented receivers and weapons. You got to take away what they want to do, make them do something that they don't, and then all of a sudden play that type of game. And can they stay patient by checking the ball down? Can they stay patient by doing the little things over and over and over again, even though they don't want to do that? Not only that, but Carson Beck has never been hit. He ain't got pressured. He hasn't been hit a lot this year. And the times that he's been under pressure, he hasn't been great. But it's been so far few in between, nobody recognizes it. So can Alabama get home, and can the coverage hold up long enough to where you're not allowing them to do what they want to do and get the ball out quickly? And then Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell can get after this quarterback. And if that happens, then Alabama's got a really good chance of doing some really good things defensively.
Yeah, Harper, I agree. I think the two advantages Alabama has, Carson Beck has not seen a defense like this. And on the other side, you help me out here. I don't think Georgia has seen a quarterback close to Jalen Milroe as far as the versatility and the ability to use those legs to beat you.
No, not you're right. And so, everybody laughed at me on set 2 years ago when I said, hey, look, Alabama with Bryce Young, they need to throw the ball 45 times. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, he's going to get hit. I'm like, look, Georgia's defensive line, they don't rush the passer great. Like, they get after it, but it's mostly with blitzes and second level stuff. And so I am once again calling it again. I don't think they have to throw it 42 plus times, but Alabama needs to throw the ball 35 to 40 times in this game. And why do I say that? It's because you can't sit up here and say, oh, we're going to be physical, we're going to run the football. That's you can throw that out. That's fugazi. They lying to you. What you need to do is throw the ball 35, 40 plus times. And because when you do that, you're naturally going to get 7 to 10 possible scrambles by Jalen Milroe, which will in turn into 15, 20-yard, 8-yard runs naturally. Because and it's so different than when you call a quarterback run. When you call a quarterback run, they're playing the quarterback. But when you're playing pass, you call it pass, everybody has to go into coverage, and then you get the quarterback run, which naturally just kind of happens when you have a quarterback like Jalen Milroe. So that is why you got to sit back. You got to cut this young man loose. In my opinion, he has earned the right to be able to drop back in a game 35, 40 times. You trust him to do it because he hasn't turned the football over. He's been protected it. He hasn't thrown a lot of interceptions. He's been great with the deep ball. His decision-making, being able to throw it in tight windows. He's done all these things. And he won you a game on 4th and 31 when nobody said you could do it. So all that being said, my game plan is the same way I say, hey, look, Georgia has to win it this way. It's the same way I'm looking at Alabama. This is how Alabama has to go win this game. And it's with that Jalen Milroe throwing the football and you calling pass plays aggressively all game long. For 4 straight quarters, you got to call it and dial it up and allow him to go back there, sit back and throw it. But it's not going to look the same as it did with Bryce Young. When Jalen Milroe's back there, you're going to naturally get some big plays in the scramble and run game because that is part of what he does. And that is what makes him special and like you said earlier, very, very dangerous quarterback.
Brown's got one more question, but like halfway through this interview, it looked like all of a sudden you were driving off road. Like it was really a smooth ride, and then it got really bumpy. I mean, are you driving out into the desert to do something today in a safari? What are you doing?
No, man, I'm actually headed down Central, man. It's, it goes from like the nicer part to like a medium part. Then I'm over here I'm finna go get a haircut, guys. You know what time it is. Yeah, I got to get smooth. Even though my man Tap, you're going to be like, I really don't see any difference. Trust me, it's a difference. But yeah, that's what it is. It is a little bit bumpier road over here, though. You're right.
Yeah. Well, come on. The Charlotte area taxpayers, let's fill those potholes. Looks like he's off road there.
We jumped right in. Roman Harper presented by mybookie.ag. They will match that initial deposit at 25% up to $1,000 when you use code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND. We jumped in with the SEC championship game. Let's quickly rewind. I saw you. I didn't get a chance to catch up with you. I know you're down on the sideline at Jordan-Hare Stadium. So I know the vantage point you had for the 4th and 31 play. I think I saw you sneak into the locker room there. Can you just kind of describe the end of that game and what it was like in that Bama locker room?
Well, number one, I never gave up hope myself personally. I might have been the only one, but just know it was so interesting because look, Auburn lost that game. Auburn should have won the game. Let's just be honest with it.
Yep.
Auburn should have won the game. They muffed the punt, gave Alabama a chance to get back over there. You could have said the same thing 2 years ago when Tank Bigsby went out of bounds. He should have stayed in bounds. And so that was one thing. But then, Alabama's just going to get the ball back and go score, right? That's what all right, here it is. Alabama's just going to go do what they do. And then the second down, the center snaps it back 15 yards. You're like, what is going on? Jalen Milroe scrambles, goes past the line of scrimmage, comes back. Now you end up 4th and 30. And I was like, man. And so now everybody has started to question Auburn's defensive play call. And yes, hindsight is 20/20. And yes, they would have liked to have rushed or did a couple different things differently. But honest to God, I charted that game going back because I watched the film. They ran the same defense on multiple third downs all game long, where they were rushing 3 with a spy, or they rushed 4 with a spy, where they rushed 2 with a spy. This was their flavor of the week. This is what they did all game long. And not only that, but the play before, when Milroe scrambled, went across the line and back, it was the same defense. Literally the same defense. They just loosened up the man-to-man coverage on the back end, and that they did the same thing. So it worked. There goes those bump again. It worked, but, it didn't work. And for me, it comes down to all about execution. The cornerback cannot lose eyesight on the ball. The ball is traveling 30-something yards. You got to be the ball is more important than the man. And he only looked at the man. So the technique is wrong, not really the play call being wrong. Now, could we help the player out by having a different play call? Yes. But at the end of the day, Alabama out executed them in the biggest moment of the game because Jalen Milroe found the one-on-one matchup, threw it to that back pylon, which he's taught to do. Great throw. Great job by Isaiah Bond. A little bit of push off, but really using his body positioning to set himself up for that catch. It was a great job. The celebration afterwards was crazy, but Nick really wasn't even. I just saw him just walk up to Milroe and just shake his hand and keep it moving. It was just like, it's just normal business, I don't think he even realized it because he was just like, man, it should not have come down to that. We cannot continue to play and do the little mistakes that we did. There's no way I thought Auburn was going to rush for 244 yards versus Alabama. You just don't see those things happening. But weird things happen every time. Alabama's favorite in Jordan-Hare, and nobody gives Auburn a chance. That's exactly when they have a chance. So I knew it was going to be close. I was scared the whole time because I just seen crazy things. I was there when, we were picked to beat them and we get sacked like 12 times. So it's just weird, bro. It never confused me, never changes. But I love that rivalry. I love all my friends on the Auburn side. It was a really, really great day for me personally.
Harp, be careful out there. Tell Tap we said what up, and we'll see you over in Atlanta.
I'll tell my man Tap because he's going to be like, hey man, make sure you get that because he enjoyed the free plug last week. So he was hey, make sure we do that every week. So I got you.
Hey, but we've got a lot of sponsors. I'll get LT to send you our wheel realignment and adjustment people that we have on the show.
Hey, there we go. I'm gonna need it after this ride over. I didn't even realize how many bumps it is until you guys told me out on it. So thank you.
Yeah. Yep. All right. See you, Hart. Be careful, man.
All right, fellas. Bye.
All right, thank you. That is Roman Harper, the Alabama great, SEC Network now with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He joins us each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag. They've got that sign-on match again, 50% up to $1,000 when you use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
And also by our friends at Bromberg's holiday season. We're about to flip to December. December is made for Bromberg's.
It is, Dunaway. They are your diamond specialist. If you're thinking about popping the question this holiday season, make sure you get it to one of those two great locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit. Since 1836, family owned and operated. Nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg's. If you're sitting around work, sitting at the house right now, Google Brombergs.com and check out their vast selection of great holiday gifts. Again, it's Brombergs.com.
They feel free to sell that to them. December was made for Bromberg's. I mean, that
when you say it like Sam Elliott.
Okay.
Yeah. Feel free.
December
Was made for Bromberg's.
I'll take you to the next marketing meeting.
No problem. No problem.
Who is this guy?
Yeah.
You guys got a good crowd in here.
Does he think his voice is as deep as he's pretending right now?
Well, you got some workman boots on.
Yeah, you do. Look like go out and do a little work.
Well, I figured this
Plunge a toilet this morning?
No, I figured this was a construction zone yesterday. I figured I'd need my steel toes on today.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was going to be walking into today. I didn't know if miraculously we had Amazon Prime at 3 a.m. deliver the Black Magic. Magic 2.
Not yet. Maybe by tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, I asked the questions too late yesterday, but I was hoping we went the level above Black Magic, and maybe we have. So maybe we have some new treats down the road if it all works better.
Upgraded,
Yeah. So isn't that great?
Yeah.
So sometimes when something fails, it ends up being a little better in the long run. So we're excited about that. And a fun announcement. Brownie calls it a big announcement. It's a big announcement. It's a fun announcement.
You do that with Casey.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's a big announcement, but it's also a fun announcement.
Both.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was my point.
Okay.
Brownie calls it a big announcement. I said fun announcement. It's both. We're going to make it in about an hour. Is that when you want to do it?
We told them 10:25. So yeah, a little less than an hour right after we talk with Jalen Milroe, somewhere around there. We'll unveil what we're talking about.
I have had a lot of people reach out to me and ask me what this is.
That's right.
Yeah, I did too. When I tweeted it out today, I had people text me and I said, well, if I tell you now,
that's right.
Yeah, then it's
not an announcement.
It's going to get out at that point. So watch it 10:25-ish, and we'll tell you what the big fun announcement is. It is both that we're going to be a part of coming up. We're excited about it. I'll tell you this: Odie's last night, trivia night, coming off the Thanksgiving weekend. Did you have fun? What was the big question?
So the question last night was, "Happy birthday, Bo Jackson!" Today,
I saw him in the lobby earlier. Was that Taylor Corn?
That was Taylor
Corn.
So
okay.
Bo Jackson and Taylor Corn have the same birthday?
Yeah, how about
I
that?
wonder if Little T knew that.
She has to.
She has to.
Now, I hope she's not listening right now, which I know she is, because I would have liked to ask her, do you know when Bo Jackson's birthday is, to see what type of an Auburn fan she is. But the question last night was,
we know what type of an Auburn fan she
what
is.
came first, Bo Jackson or the first ever 911 call in the United States?
Did that happen in the state of Alabama?
It did.
Didn't we do 911 first?
Was it in Silicaga or something?
It was in the great city of Haleyville. Shout out Heath Haley, my boy Rab Stewart.
It's named after him, Heath Haley,
Haleyville, baby.
He'll tell you it probably is by some association, but
okay. So let me do the math here. I'm gonna say Bo is 60.
Gosh, that's impossible.
Is Bo 60?
Bo is 61.
That is impossible.
Bo is 61.
He was born in 1962.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna say Bo's older than 911.
Me too. For some reason, I want to say the first 911 call happened in 1971.
1968, Haleyville, Alabama.
About that.
So Bo is older than 911.
Yes.
Yeah, but 911 was invented after he started running the football
That is true.
because DCs needed to call somebody for help.
You learn something every day. So some people just learn that, but I learned the new acronym last night at Odie's. I'm gonna have to get Rockstar to remember. It was GYAT. I think that's it.
Get your act together.
Act together.
That's what Rockstar said.
Yeah.
It was grow your ass thick. These are things you learn at Odie's. We do it every Wednesday night at the Crestline location. Of course, there's a new location in Homewood. Make sure you stop by, check that out. Both Crestline and Homewood, live music on Fridays and Saturdays. Great place to watch the conference championship games this weekend, college basketball, inside or outside on that patio. Enjoy great food from Rodney Davis. Ice cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. Get into one of those two locations, Birmingham Institutions, Odie's Tavern.
Can we get is Little T, if you're close by, come in here for a second. I just want to see your facial expression as we do this next story. By the way, Auburn is a winner last night in basketball, 7-7, the ACC SEC Challenge. That's how we started the show. Fun basketball game happening tonight. Liberty and FAU, 5 o'clock ESPNU. I don't know if Lance's lock has a play on it, but somebody's put money on it at mybookie.ag after his big Auburn win.
Sure. 5-2 last night. Very disappointed we didn't get Florida State home. Had a really good opportunity to 6-1, but we'll take a 5-2.
You wanna stand over there? But
do you have a headset?
Yeah, you put on your headset.
Put on the headset and walk into as near to Forster's going to pull out here.
It's muted. You're going to have to unmute number 4.
I am going to assume, based on the fact that every Friday she wears her Bo Jackson jersey because she sports it on a Thursday, that she probably knew it as Bo Jackson's birthday. Did you?
Okay, so no, I did know it was Bo Jackson.
Come on in. Yeah, right there. That's good.
Okay.
Good. Yeah,
Mine in front of Lance.
Yep.
No, that's fine.
Okay. You're fine right there.
I knew it was. Oh, I brought your pen, but it looks like you got someone else to bring it too.
That's okay.
Do now.
Wait, does he have a pen handler?
I think he. Well, yeah.
I was texting everybody. I needed a pen to mark off what we've done so far.
That's what. Well, EG was like. Don't always ask me to bring him the pen out of his chair, and I was like, oh. And I looked at my phone. I keep my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, he texted me too. And then I saw someone else bring it out. I was like, how many people is he trying to get? I was trying.
Starting with Forrester.
How is he supposed to get?
How often do you look at your text? You don't look at your text much, do you?
Well, during the show, it's distracting because my phone's connected to my iPad. So if I get a text,
you have to take it down.
It shows up, and I'm trying to give you all my full attention. Yeah. So I put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
But wait, what was the question?
Bo Jackson's birthday.
First off, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah,
happy birthday.
Oh yeah, Bo Jackson's birthday. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Did you know that?
Yes, I knew that. That's not why I wore this today though. So my sister, my kind sister, Erin, I know you're not listening, but she brought me breakfast.
We might see her tonight though.
Yeah, well, the tickets are already given away, so I don't know.
She was in for the Iron Bowl ticket.
But she brought me breakfast this morning, and I was getting ready for work, and I was like, okay, what do I want to wear today? Something warm, because she was like, it's freezing out. And I was like, well, I usually wear this jersey on Friday, and we don't have a game Saturday. But I was like, we won a basketball game last night, and we have a good crowd. So I was like, I'll support Auburn University, not just football and football. I'll still support football this offseason, but I told you I don't really like basketball jerseys.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm wearing it today. I did forget that it was his birthday, so I guess I'm wearing it for his birthday and for the Auburn basketball
Makes a lot of sense. So give us your vantage point of 4th and 31. Where were you? How'd you feel?
You're going to do this to me right now?
Literally give me what you said when you saw it was a touchdown.
This will shock you.
I was sitting on the floor by an outlet because my phone was about to die, and I was
going to stick a knife in it?
Yeah.
You don't have to play with.
No,
I wish I had one.
She's obviously working.
Yeah,
right?
I was getting videos from them in Auburn, and I was like, no matter what happens after the game, they're going to have videos, and, time sensitive.
Yep.
We got to get that out.
Work takes over. Fan stops, work starts.
And so I was sitting on the floor, and I was looking up at the TV, and I was not speaking to anyone. Everyone that I was with knew that,
Don't say anything to Taylor.
Yeah.
Any Bama fans?
Yes. But they were my friends. Like after the game, one of them walked up to me and gave me a hug because I was like, do not say shit to me right now. I was like, I will actually, I'm very vulnerable and fragile right now. So please. And he was like, if your parlay loses, he was like, I want to pay you what your parlay would have paid you because of how bad I feel for you right now. But I was sitting on the floor, and he throws the ball. He scrambles for what felt like 2.5 hours. And I was like, y'all, you're supposed to tackle the quarterback. Come on, boys. And the ball's in the air. My heart, like, I was having heart palpitations. I think I may have texted Forrester that. And after Isaiah Bond called, I literally just put, this is what I did.
Head in hands. You didn't say anything. You just silently head in hands.
No, and then I screamed a lot of profanities.
Did
that I'm
you?
not, yeah.
Oh.
And then
Then she went to work.
oh yeah, and
That's
then
right.
I'm supporting the Gravedigger t-shirt. I'm like, hey y'all, buy this Gravedigger t-shirt. Like through my tears, I'm
Yeah.
tweeting. I'm like,
Do you have your Gravedigger under your hoodie?
No, never. You will never ever see me wearing that.
No, what was funny was
Or Alabama gear.
Yeah, what was funny was we had a bunch of stuff, and EG was like, okay, I'm going to send this to Taylor, and that was the first time I thought about, wonder how Taylor's doing right now.
Like not good at all.
So I was like,
But hats off to you that you didn't like just turn your phone off.
that's
and
right.
start drinking and leave us hanging out on the island down there,
You worked
unable
through,
to
you worked through the
yeah.
pain.
You
Well,
did the company well.
That's
It's good. Reed taught me this a little while ago. He was saying, I had to realize when Auburn, I don't remember what year he was talking about, but he was like, I had to realize, it's good for the state, the show, and everything when a state team does well.
That's right.
He was like, so you have to at some point swallow that. And I was like, psh, no, like,
Yeah.
haha. But
I don't
now,
know if
like,
you
that's what I'm
realize
trying
Alabama's
to nail.
been pretty good since you became an Auburn fan, right?
I've been an Auburn fan forever.
Yeah. But
like,
forever for you started when? 1998?
Or like for my whole existence.
Yeah.
Even like my sister was an Alabama fan for a second, and then she went to Auburn. But no, I don't think that I'm the bad luck. I just I think we're about to turn this ship around.
Well, that's why I brought you in here.
There we go.
Not to relive the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
But
Cam Coleman flip?
the biggest story that's going on out there right now, right after LT tells you about Dr. B. Hang on, little T. Don't go anywhere.
Look, when my hair started to thin out right here on the next round, I asked around. Dr. Beckenstein is the name everyone mentioned. I went to see Dr. B. Since that moment, my hair has more than doubled in thickness. For more than 20 years, women and men have trusted Dr. B for a variety of different procedures. I do 3 different non-invasive treatments, 30 minutes each per week on the couch. That is it. For more information, t3hair.net, and make sure you tell them the next round sent you.
Alabama native Riley Leonard is in the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 likely landing spots: Auburn
and West Virginia, or
Notre Dame.
Or wait, no.
Now, most people think Notre Dame is where he's going to
I
go,
saw that.
but Auburn or Notre Dame, I mean, give you a fighting chance to try to lure the guy home. I mean,
Okay.
Riley Leonard at Auburn.
Riley Leonard is a great athlete, so he's a dual-purpose guy. If you weren't watching early this season, you didn't see how good he can be. Obviously, he gets injured. Season's a little bit different. But he was, and this is one of the deepest quarterback drafts we've ever seen. I saw him in the top 10 of everyone's quarterback evaluations up until he got hurt. So he's really, really good. But you guys saw what Matt Rule said, right?
$1 million to $2 million for a quarterback. Yeah. That's no problem at Auburn.
No, you got the money.
Yeah, I mean, it's no problem. Obviously, at Notre Dame, they probably played Hartman that last year.
I've been told by people who contribute to these kind of things, one of the guys, that the NIL pot for Auburn this offseason is as big as it needs to be.
Well, I think
as big as it needs to be.
You're going to have to pay your way out of this.
Yep.
I mean, you're in a hole personnel-wise, and the only way this day and age to get out of a hole that deep is to pay your way out of it.
Well, did y'all see? It was a few weeks ago, and I think we may have talked about it, but there was an anonymous donor that came out, or the donor didn't come out, but he said he would donate $250,000 for every X amount of people. I think you just had to sign up for On to Victory. You didn't have to.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of different packages. I don't think there was one, but they said every, I don't know how many, maybe like 1,000 new people.
And that's the NIL brand that Auburn uses there.
For my mental health, please.
Yeah, but Riley Leonard would interest you?
I mean, I don't know enough about, like, I'm not going to stand here and try and act like I know a lot about Riley Leonard.
Okay, so
that's why I ask y'all. If someone comes to the transfer portal, y'all walk in and say, should I be excited about this?
I've got 10 portal quarterbacks here who have not committed right now. He is number 1 by far.
Peyton Thorne is a D.
Mm-hmm.
Riley Leonard is close to an A.
Okay.
Or an A when healthy. I'll tell you this. I talked to Brock Heward, and I don't know if you picked this up yesterday and Unlocked, but we were talking about Cam Ward, Washington State's quarterback. And he said for a fact he knows that Cam Ward has had multiple 7-figure offers.
Yeah, Cam Ward would be a get for anybody in America.
Was rocking it for a while this
Yeah.
year, then hit a lull, and then came back up at the end.
Yeah, I don't know which one I'd rather have. I think both are really,
Between
really good.
Riley Leonard and Cam, I think I'd go Cam Ward.
I don't know.
I would want Riley Leonard.
Would you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
well,
I like both a lot.
The Reddit, I don't know what thing this is on, but apparently it's going. The Auburn fans are going crazy on Reddit because someone found out somehow that Riley Leonard's girlfriend goes to Auburn.
Oh,
so
she
everyone's
does.
like, it's like,
No,
but I'm like, do we want
does, yeah.
that? He's going to be distracted.
That's
Right.
Little T wants her players not to have any females on campus.
Well, I'm like,
I
distracted.
Yeah, because like
Exhibit A, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was never distracted.
Bo Nix is married.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
helped
But,
him
like,
though when they were dating.
Yeah.
Don't
When
y'all
they were
have
dating, it
a,
wasn't very
That was
good.
bad.
don't y'all have a theory behind
that's your
that?
boy
Yeah.
right there.
No,
Yeah.
when guys seem to have everything like completely focused on whatever their sport is, and then once they get into a relationship, it seems like they lose a little bit of focus.
Well, my concern is, if he's not at Auburn, or he wasn't at Auburn, so he has his time and his space, he can watch film and whatever. But I don't know the girl. I'm sure she's great, but what if she's one of those that's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why aren't you spending enough time? Like all that? We can't have that. Really? I mean, we're trying to win championships sometimes.
That's what people get bored when they get married.
Uh-huh.
An example is like talking to Brock yesterday about Bo Nix. He said Bo Nix is in every coach's meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And like Bo was telling him, I wish I would have known what I know now years ago.
Yeah.
So
Well, he was going to class back then.
well,
Now,
he said he might take one online class.
Maybe.
Just enough to be a student.
Yeah, that's right.
So
He's enrolled.
it's probably fun to be married, but at the same time, hey, honey, I need to break away for a little bit. I got this football thing.
Yeah.
So that's what you need for your quarterback.
By the way,
His-
that's going to pay for our house down the road and
Yeah.
everything else, your car, your everything else.
His wife is also awesome. I don't know her super well, but one of my good friends cheered with her. I was
Is he?
like, no,
Right,
yeah.
yep.
So she seems like a good one.
Yeah.
So
All right. So
well, happy birthday, little T.
Yep.
Thanks,
and
guys.
we'll
Yeah,
see
good
if
to see you.
Riley ends up there. I think the Circle believes Notre Dame
okay,
is going to land him, but
his girlfriend might beg to differ.
well, and money may talk.
Yeah,
I-
well, here's the thing about Notre Dame. Notre Dame might really be all in because Notre Dame saw Sam Hartman when he was at Wake Forest. They were all in on him. They saw Riley Leonard in an incredible game this past year, so they might be all in on him. I don't think you can go wrong if you guys are to get Cam Ward or Riley Leonard. That would be an incredible get.
yeah.
Okay.
Let me
Well,
thank you, Little T.
Yeah,
Thank
good to see
y'all.
you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Wardam.
we're down.
Happy birthday,
We're
right?
down.
Yeah. Wardam Pods is where you can get some
That's
more
right. That's
Auburn
true.
coverage and help out Taylor on her birthday. A couple of sponsors to tell you about. Our friends at Legacy, legacycreditunion.com, where you get all the details. They have a lot of things for you this holiday season. Personal loan if you want to take a Christmas vacation, not the movie, an actual Christmas vacation, or if you want to just maybe up the ante a little bit on some holiday gifts. They got easy payback plans and such like that. You can apply online at legacycreditunion.com. And of course, the Legacy credit card, a great 8.9% APR right there, no annual fees, and they've got great no balance transfer fees as well. So it works out good for you there. You can apply online in minutes, all right there at legacycreditunion.com. Federally insured by the NCUA, our friends at Legacy, and also our friends at Hemp Hill LT.
$69 fall tune-up right now when you call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. I had to take care of an invoice yesterday. I was on the phone with Andrew. Our friends at Hemp Hill, they're doing great. Locally owned and operated train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Call today, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
We'll get some comments from our chat room coming up here in a moment, but let me bring up one more quarterback thing. And I would love your take on this. Yesterday, reports came out that Shedeur Sanders is going to return to Colorado next year. If his dad was not the coach at Colorado, do you think Shedeur Sanders would be returning next year, or would he be going into the NFL draft?
I think he would be going into the NFL draft.
I do too. I think his dad being the coach is the only reason he's coming back to school.
But I don't think
this
this
bare minimum he'd be transferring. He would not play behind that offensive line.
I don't think this is a bad thing though. You know, the more and more people we talk to, you know, they start to point out the Trey Lances, the Mark Sanchez's, the Mitch Trubisky's of the world that didn't have a lot of reps. And Shedeur, on this level has only got this year of the sample size. And a lot of people say he's already the third quarterback coming out. If you're his dad, it's an easy sell. Hey, look, we're trying to build something here, son. This is probably the last time we're ever going to be able to have, son coach situation. And you could be the number one guy coming out next year. Let's do something special together. And by the way, we'll get you some NIL money.
Yeah. I mean, he'll have plenty of money. I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's just,
I think it's the right decision for sure.
And Travis has to come back, right? Travis Hunter?
So, yeah.
Not necessarily to Colorado, but has to come back.
Third year. Third year.
The thing about Shedeur, though, is just playing behind that offensive line again. I mean, now they got a chance to get it better. They're going to probably have to do it out of the transfer portal. I assume if there was anyone on that roster that could play line, they tried them this year.
Yeah, and recruiting's not where it's going to change the offensive line.
Right, a true freshman's not going to come in and just click immediately. So you're going to
especially when you're 64th, right?
Yeah, you're going to have to go transfer portal on that deal. But they got to get him a better offensive line. Even when he was playing elite, he was running for his life all the time. I mean, that was even when they were beating TCU, beating Colorado State, beating Nebraska. He was still running for his life. He was just able to overcome it.
Well, there might have been in a gentleman's agreement between father and son. Hey, look, you've heard about that $1 million ban in Tuscaloosa on $1 million line.
Yeah.
Let's go out. Let's go 8 deep and give them $500,000 each. We're going to spend all of our – because we've got skill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they got skill.
We need something up front.
Yeah. Interesting yesterday that Max Johnson – in the portal for just one day, goes from Texas A&M. He commits to North Carolina.
Well, I tell you something there is, there's going to be a competition for the starting job. I mean, the guy there is going to be gone. So I did think it was awful quick, but then the more I thought about it, I'm like, Drake May ain't there. So you're in a wide open competition, I would assume, for the starting job.
Yeah, but back to a point I made yesterday with 72-year-old Mac Brown. You go from Sam Howell, who's the Commander's starting quarterback, to Drake May, probably the number 2 overall quarterback coming out in May, to now Max Johnson. Yeah. It might be time. Tap it out.
If you're Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see Max Johnson being the starting quarterback for 12 games and having any kind of a meaningful season?
No, I mean, I could see him be the starting quarterback for 12 games. I could see them go 6, 7, and 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nothing to write home to Tar Heel Mama about. KJ Jefferson says he's not in the portal yet. He's still making a decision, though there were reports yesterday that the Arkansas quarterback would be out and about.
Him and Petrino are going to go on a ride today.
Go check out the scenery.
Listen, now you guys mentioned he was at the basketball game and everything. In his introduction, in his return, he is quoted as saying, I had hoped one day to be able to come back here and make it right. I think there's something admirable about what Bobby Petrino is doing, that he is going back to a place where it was all it was going to do was dig up all of this story again.
Yep.
So it's the public shaming again of everything he did a decade ago, 12 years ago. And he's going back as a coordinator, not the head coach where he was the head coach. He's going back in a very humble way to sort of try to take a wrong he did in life and make it right for people that trusted him.
Look, I like this a lot because the more you hear, not just one quarterback club in Arkansas, multiple quarterback clubs, he's made the rounds over the last couple of years, and people say that have been there, he was very remorseful. Now, Bobby Petrino on the surface seems like a dick. He does. Bobby Knight was a dick.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And Bobby Knight was one of these guys that would never make it right. Look, the circumstance is completely different from Bloomington to what happened in Fayetteville, but still, Bobby Knight owed that fan base an apology to a degree and would never do it, was never going to do it because some people just won't do it.
Right.
So I do give Bobby Petrino credit. He's got a ton of money. He never had to do this. He could have been an offensive coordinator anywhere.
Yeah, he is making $1.6 million.
Yeah,
so
but
he's not doing it for charity.
But do you not agree that he probably could have got a 7-figure deal with a lot of different schools?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I think there are a lot of schools just on his name that would have given him a ride.
And this is more magnified for him. The pressure's on. Everything he did there got taken away based off the field, but now it could be taken away on the field if he doesn't perform. So there's a lot of pressure on Petrino.
I will tell you, our Terrion Arnold interview from today is close to being up. Forrester, is it already up? Terrion Arnold up already? Yeah, it's already up on all of our video platforms.
Wow, quick work.
So Terrion Arnold is up and rolling there. And also Jalen Milroe will join us coming up at the top of the hour. The hero of the Iron Bowl will be with us at 10 a.m. Central Time. Our friends at Wayne's, the heroes for 50 years as the best pest control company in the world. They've been doing it for 50 years. We've been celebrating their 50th anniversary all year long here on our platform, The Next Round, and here at Disrupt Media. And your chance now to get $50 off all reoccurring services with Wayne's by going to their website, callwaynes.com, or literally calling them up, 866-WAYNES-1, 866-WAYNES-1. When it gets cold outside for the first time, you have mice and rats and other things that try to crawl into your house to stay warm. Our friends at Wayne's keep them on the outside where they belong, and they keep your holidays pest-free. Again, callwaynes.com, or 866-WAYNES-1 with our friends at Wayne's right there. And also by our friends at Simpio LT.
Simpio, one of the first calls we made was to Blake and the guys at Simpio, because they're going to take care of the 4 pillars in every single office: HR, payroll, benefits, compliance, things we knew nothing about at all. For more information, remember, you can sign up, no annual contract. With that being said, they've got a 99% retention rate. Go online today for more information. Go to Simpio.com.
Anything in the chat room of interest to you at this point, Brad?
Yeah, real quick, Tyler is pointing out, if you want to see the Terrion interview, wait till after the show's over, please. But right here in the description of this show on YouTube, you can find the links to both Disrupt the Media and Roll Tide Pods, and you can see all that. Karen says Mac Johnson should have dropped down a level. We've seen Max Johnson play okay football.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever seen him consistently play good football.
No, I mean, he's a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
A great QB2 to have in case of injury.
Yeah. G. Curbo says Travis Hunter made a mistake going to Colorado. Someone, and it was moving kind of fast. Troy says, yeah, he's learning from the GOAT of cornerback. He made the right choice.
Yeah, the dude made some unbelievable plays this year.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, maybe made the wrong choice if you want to win a championship, but his profile couldn't get any higher. And as far as his draft status, if he was coming out right now, he would be the number 1 cornerback.
Krusty says, and I guess I was unaware of this. I don't really know who the top 5 is, but Bo Nix has got a chance to be number 6 on the NCAA career passing yards leaders list by the end of the year.
It's not surprising. I mean,
probably won't reach 5, and he's played a long time.
Yeah, he's going to get maybe almost 20 more games than most people did.
I mean, think about 60 starts. If you just have 200 yards per start, I mean, you've got 12,000 yards passing.
That's going to get you up there.
Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, because, an average guy that was playing 4 years at 3,000, I mean, that's a good solid season.
So Bo Nix is 8th right now behind Dylan Gabriel. By the way, Dylan Gabriel's still playing football, right?
Yep.
Bo's at 14,750. To get to 6, he would have to pass Ty Detmer, who's at 15,31. So, a 300-yard game Friday night.
He's probably got that.
Yeah, he's there. He can probably do that against him. Sam Hartman, by the way, is 5th. Did you know Sam Hartman was 5th all time?
I did. I read that earlier this year, and I think he's first for touchdowns responsible.
Maybe so.
I would tell you, though, that also bowl games count now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And playoff games count.
Yeah.
So Bo he gets 1 more this week, could get 2 more games after this if they're in the playoffs and the national championship game. And for some of those people back then, the bowl games didn't count.
Yeah.
Oh,
they played
Danny Cannell.
11 regular season games, no conference championship games, and the bowl game didn't count. So the numbers can be a little different on things like that. Somebody will let me know when Jalen Milroe is up. I was seeing today, according to People Magazine, the most rewatched Christmas films starting this time of year until the end. There's 10 in the rankings. Give me
Christmas Vacation. Elf.
Who do you think is number 1?
Oh, I think it's probably now Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation comes in at number 6 on the list. Now, some of these are movies we wouldn't watch, but some of them are movies we watch every year.
Christmas Story and It's a Wonderful Life have got to be in the top 3.
Christmas Story is number 2. A Wonderful Life, which is something Maggie and I watch every Christmas Eve while we wrap.
Never watched that whole movie.
Can you believe that? Number 7.
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 7 behind Christmas Vacation.
Tell me Bad Santa's number 1.
Bad Santa doesn't make the list. Die Hard does, though, at number 10.
Okay.
On the list. From 10 up, number 10 is Die Hard. Number 9 is Miracle on 34th Street, which is not a great movie, but it's old.
Okay.
It's a classic, I guess. Number 8 is The Santa Claus. What is that? I've never seen that one.
It's Tim Allen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's boring.
Number 7 is A Wonderful Life. Number 6 is Christmas Vacation.
Love it.
Number 5 is Elf.
Yep.
Number 4 is the claymation, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Loved it as a kid.
Oh, I did too. And Leighton was a big fan of the Island of Misfit Toys when they did the remake.
Yeah, I love that
was
too.
really good. Yeah.
Number 3 is a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Okay.
I love that one.
That's a classic.
Yep.
Number 2 is A Christmas Story, and number 1 is Home Alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Home Alone.
Is that a Christmas?
Well,
I mean, yeah.
Christmas.
yeah, he gets left.
Yeah, that's the old tired Die Hard argument. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not? Because it occurs. At
I
Christmas.
say it is. The Leftovers, definitely the
Yeah,
Holdovers.
they
definitely a Christmas movie.
I watched the trailer of that, and I think I'm going to go see it.
You need to.
Yeah. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to the theater. I may have to wait till it comes out at the house.
Me and Lugan Bill did our review on Napoleon. We disagree.
Oh, really?
Napoleon, yeah.
So that's it. Spit Luke. So
Yep.
he has seen Napoleon as well. Okay.
Broyles Award 4 finalists are out there. Don't you just give the trophy to Sharon Moore as the best assistant coach since he's 4-0 as a head coach?
I don't know if you do. I mean, because he's a head coach. No.
I don't know how you deal with it.
I mean, what Iowa has done.
Yeah, you weren't here the other day.
Phil Parker.
He's going to back Phil Parker, the Iowa defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I am. They got 10 wins. They can't score.
Well, I've got a vote. So where do you?
You've got to vote.
Where do you
for
want me to
Broyles.
go?
Oh, you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
He's not wrong about Phil Parker. I can make the same exact argument about Mike Denbrock, though.
Yeah, you can.
Now, his team is not playing in a conference championship game, but they're in a far tougher division than what Iowa is.
And Denbrock was handed Jaden Daniels.
Well, I mean,
but how about
he's coached him, though, and he had no defensive help. It was like one empty possession for them, and they're down 14 easy.
But just think of what Sharon Moore has had to do. I mean, he's had to manage some crises.
Jim was right about that.
No, he has.
Yeah.
He has.
And a couple of big games at the end where he was not only calling plays, he had to make the
I guarantee
decision.
you, this isn't fair necessarily, but because of his post-game interview after Penn State, I think there are some people that is turned off.
Oh, it's turned off. I thought you were going to say turned on.
No, I think
because
turned
of his
off.
passion. You turned off because of the language?
No,
or
the crying.
The crying. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's watching uses that language.
I thought you were going to say turn.
No, I mean, I
They
heard a
liked it
lot of people.
because
I
of the
can't
passion.
believe he cried. It's not like Jim Harbaugh's.
Well, he was acting like Jim Harbaugh died. I mean,
Right.
I will say that, but he's obviously a passionate guy.
I mean, I didn't care either way.
Top of the hour, Jalen Milroe in the second. Johnston RV Center gets us rolling anywhere in America in 2024. Looking forward to it, man.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center. They are always online at johnstonrvcenter.com. I want you to know how much we appreciate how much you support our sponsors. And Nick and the gang at Johnston RV reached out to us and like, hey, listen, we've sold a lot of new units. So that means we've got a ton of trade-ins, and we got to make room for all these that are arriving from the Forest River Expo where they attended. So you're going to get a great deal on previously owned RVs, and you're not going to sacrifice the warranty. Anything 2 years or less used is covered by a lifetime warranty there at Johnston RV Center. They've still got new stuff as low as $179 a month with approved credit. You can see more by visiting them in person. Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, or just go online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
I will tell you this, when Jalen Milroe joins us in a second, we'll jump back into sports, but I don't know if it was the first time my dad cried when I was alive, but it's the first time I remember my dad crying. On this day, it was to this movie, on this day in 1971, airing for the first time was Brian's Song. Now, my memory is going to be later into the 70s because it seemed like they replayed it every year on network television back then. But Brian's Song, 1971, today it came out. Back then, I know you've seen it at some point. You get a little misty-eyed doing it?
Yeah, James Caan, Billy D. Williams. I don't know anybody that could watch that movie and not get teared up.
It's another one I've never seen all of.
Oh.
I mean, I know that's a long, prestigious list of movies. I've never seen all of it. I just told you It's a Wonderful Life. Never seen all of that one.
I mean, the relationship between Gail Sayers and Brian Piccolo.
Yeah.
And it's a cheesy made-for-TV movie, but the emotions come through. And
I mean,
I haven't seen it in 20, 25 years, but I remember really tearing up.
Lunsford in the chat's like, how has Brown not seen Brian's Song? Well, I mean, I know how it ends, for one thing.
But to look across...
Well, you know how the Titanic ended.
I didn't like that movie, actually. I watched it, but I didn't like it.
I think as a kid, the first time I watched it, I didn't know how it ended. You know, when he...
Yeah, I don't think I did either. I didn't know the story.
When he got out of the hospital and came back to camp, I was like,
Yeah, he's going to make it.
And they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Say that I probably didn't know the story either as a kid watching it. Now, after I watch a movie like Napoleon, I go back and I Google and do deep dives. And
You learn more.
learn a lot more.
Yeah.
But didn't have that option back in the day.
Yeah. Really interesting on Brian's song. All right. We're getting ready for the SEC championship. Jalen Milroe momentarily with us here. Again, we're in the lobby because of it's a piece of equipment, the switcher, which controls all of our cameras and everything, burned out earlier this week. And we've got a new one coming. So Monday, fingers crossed, it's here.
It's here.
It's here. So
awesome. Now I saw EG and Little T.
Oh, is that what we had to sign for?
Toting the box to the toting the box to the back. So we've trusted EG and Little T with a supported piece of equipment. I hope it arrived okay. I trust both of them.
Yeah. What is the accounting firm that does the Academy Awards where they have to bring it in with white gloves?
Yeah.
Deloitte.
Deloitte and Touche.
Well, they're our employees in the 20s, so in their whole life they were being used to delivery showing up at the house.
That's true.
We didn't, so I'm sure they handle packages okay.
They thought it was a pair of shoes.
All right, do not drop this. So we will get to Rockstar's 4 Downs in our special announcement after we talked to Jalen Milroe coming up here momentarily, but we're getting ready for the SEC championship. We'll be in Atlanta tomorrow. Thank you to all of our sponsors getting us on the road to Atlanta for the SEC championship. And on our platform, we got several other videos that we're putting out leading into our coverage over there, and we're looking forward to that. I mentioned Brian's song out today, 1971. On this day in 1982, this is when Thriller, the album, was released.
It was a fantastic album.
Yep. I remember the video coming out first before the album, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I assume it was on MTV where I watched that.
Probably.
But I remember coming home from school and us all gathering around for the MTV release of Thriller, the video.
Yeah.
It wasn't like 6, 7, 8 minutes long.
Oh, yeah. It was John Landis actually did it.
I mean, it's a Hollywood production, basically.
It
It's
was.
a short film.
It was, at that particular time, by far the most expensive video of all time. A lot of people viewed it as the best video. Who would have thought that guy ends up being a pedophile?
Yep.
Taylor Swift, the Spotify Download Artist of the Year, beating another artist who had done it for 3 straight years. Can you name that artist?
So
this is
3 straight years,
the most streamed artist on Spotify, the streaming platform for music. Taylor Swift yesterday, they did their wrap where they send out your individual minutes you've watched.
I saw people posting this.
Yeah, so Taylor Swift was the most streamed artist in 2023.
I'm randomly going to say Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen, no. Morgan Wallen was on my most listened to list, though.
Ed Sheeran,
no. 3 straight years. It was Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny
for 3 straight years.
Now, I guess that takes into account his collaborations too.
I guess.
Yeah, he's got a lot of those.
Yeah, so Bad Bunny's 3-year run at the top of Spotify ends there.
What a dumbass name for a rapper too.
I mean, now artists make nothing off of streams. I mean, absolutely nothing. Pennies off streams. Like, I think I saw somebody tweet.
The writer gets a little bit more off the stream.
Probably so. I think I saw one of the artists tweet that it requires 1 million streams for them to get $3,000 out of it. So God only knows how little money they make off that, which is why, by the way, you're seeing people tour more now, I think, right? That's why you got more people willing to tour, because that's really the way they make their money now.
Yeah, it seemed like Taylor Swift's concert every weekend, she was making millions of dollars.
Yeah, but I don't think they can make it off streaming that much. So they got to tour.
But she writes the songs.
Yeah, but she's making money off everything. You know, when I was at Napoleon the other day getting some popcorn, they had the Taylor Swift's Eras package you can buy. Commemorative popcorn bucket cup.
Yes.
By the way, I got popcorn, 2 drinks, and 3 tickets.
Yes. Okay, go ahead. Give us
3 tickets.
3 tickets.
Popcorn, 2 drinks, and
how large is the popcorn?
And a raisinette. It was large.
Raisinette. Ooh, raisinette.
But this was,
and how many drinks?
2 drinks.
2 drinks. What size drink? Large?
Just regular.
Regular drink.
Yeah, this was 4 o'clock, so it's a matinee.
So 3 tickets. Raisinettes. Ooh, raisinettes have big money. Can't have money there. 2 drinks regular.
Bro, I wouldn't know about this.
I'm gonna say
you don't pay.
I'm gonna say it was $64.
You know, when Lance gets a joke on you, he never lets it go, does he?
$64.
75 and change.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not factor in tax. There you go. 75
and change.
Wow, 64 seemed like a lot.
But that's where they're making all their money's concessions.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I always explain to my wife.
Jalen Milroe is with us now. We are going to talk to the Alabama quarterback. He joins us from over in Tuscaloosa. Oh, he's got on that Craneworks Rental Works hat. Look at that. Look at that hat, JM. Jalen Milroe with us. He is on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Welcome in, my man. How are you today?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Man, we're doing awesome. Thanks a lot.
Give him that mother trucking hat.
He got that done away.
He did. He's presented by Craneworks, Rental Works, and Wasteworks.
Before we get into the important things,
okay,
can we ask you, because we were talking about movies, did you guys go to a movie the night before the Iron Bowl?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't go to a movie the night before.
Okay, you typically do though, right?
No, only night game we go watch a movie for.
Okay.
Yeah, not this game. Mm-mm.
Well, some would say you made a movie. Someone say you made a movie there at the Iron Bowl. The amount of people on your team that said it was 4th and 31, we did not blink. We knew we were still going to win the game. Some would say that's lip service, but it is really the message your coach has driven into you ever since you've been in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with everything is like the surrender the outcome. No matter what circumstance you are in the game, it's all about surrendering the outcome and then have singular focus. And then that was like very important, in the game, because, through a football game, it's good, it's bad, and the biggest thing you can only focus on is, be where your feet are. So I think that was the biggest thing throughout the game.
Okay, before we get to the money shot, let's go back to 2nd and 3rd down and the disasters those 2 downs were. Just take us through 2nd and 3rd down leading up to 4th and 31.
Okay. So, we're in positive downs, we're close to the end zone. So, as an offense, we have nothing but confidence, we're right there. And, all it took to get to that, down close to the end zone. But, unfortunately, we had, two plays we definitely won back as a football team. But, it was all about responding. And we looked at the clock. We had enough time. That was the biggest thing. We had enough time to regroup and do exactly what we needed to do. Only thing we can do is learn from the two plays before the 4th down one. We were able to go to the sideline, regroup, talk about the game plan, and then refocus and figure out what we need to do to get back on the field. And so when 4th down came, it just all came back. It all felt like practice, to be honest. Like, it was just like, all right, this is something we do, and this is time to execute the play. And so, Coach Reese called, and I had nothing but confidence.
Were you surprised you had that much time to look and then throw the football?
I wasn't like necessarily surprised. I was just like, I was more like smiling because I knew we were finna score. Like, I knew we were finna score. Like everybody was like kind of nervous. Like, I was straight. Like, I knew exactly what was finna take place, and they gave us the exact look I thought we were gonna get.
We were asked this in the chat room, and I've actually noticed it in rewatching the play that as you break the huddle before 4th and 31, offensive line coach Eric Wolford is walking with you on the field, has you by the shoulder pad, whispering in your ear. What was he telling you?
I ain't gonna lie, I don't know. Like, I was so locked in to like what I had to do. Like, don't worry about what he's saying.
What if he had told you, hey, watch, we think Isaiah Bond's going to be open to the back quarter. There's just look there.
I got a bunch of things go through my mind. And so it was just, whatever coach report it was probably good because it was sports.
Yeah, but you know how he's going to tell the story 20 years from now. It's going to watch right here. Yeah. I'm telling Jalen what's going to happen right here, and he absorbs my knowledge and goes out there and makes it happen.
They're going to rush too. Look for 17 in the back of the end zone.
Yeah. Were you surprised at what you saw defensively from Auburn, where they rushed to and they've got a spy on you?
I was more, surprised about the rush than I was like the defense, because like if you think about it, like before halftime they tried to throw a jump ball before half, and then it was just like the same type of scenario, try to push to the end zone, but our structure was kind of different than theirs, and so we ended up getting a pick before half. But it was more about like, all right, I saw I had time in the pocket, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my time, let the play develop, and then take what they gave.
Jalen Milroe is with us, presented by Craneworks, Rental Works, and Wasteworks. You see him wearing the hat. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. The big guy says rent from the big dog, Crane Works, Rental Works, and Waste Works. I don't know if you've seen this, but Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, was asked in his news conference yesterday how close attention he paid to the Iron Bowl and how much he's paying to the Georgia game. And he brought you up specifically and how proud he is of the way you have played this year. Do you talk to him often? How well do you know Jalen Hurts?
I know Jalen Hurts. I consider him a big brother. I think we have a great relationship, and to hear things from him, it's nothing but motivation, nothing but a sign of love, and I appreciate him a lot because that's a quarterback I like very much in the NFL.
And we know how the naysayers can motivate you, and he faced the same thing, didn't he? I mean, there were a lot of people that think, and I'll admit I was one of them when I first saw him, did not think he could be the NFL quarterback he is today.
100%. And then the biggest motto he has, keep the main thing the main thing. And, that's something, that motivates us and something that, gets us to exactly where we want to go in our future.
Hey, before we talk SEC championship with you, one of our viewers, Michael, came to the team hotel on Friday night before the Iron Bowl and had you signed a next round hat and got pictures with you and our other NIL guys, Booker and Arnold. And the wardrobe you guys have, I mean, my goodness, back when I started covering college football, it was sweatpants and sweatshirts all the time. I mean, how much thought do you go into your fashion sense on a game weekend? I mean, do you plan it out in preseason as the season goes on? Do you know what you're wearing in Atlanta this weekend?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, you look good, you feel good, play good, all that correlates. So I think what you have on is, something that, I take a lot of pride in, But yeah, I think the funny thing about it is everybody like to compete to see who has the best outfit on. And so guys on the team might throw on something, say, oh yeah, I got it on this week. But it's pretty funny. But with everything, I try to switch it up every single week. Try to change up my wardrobe, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to wear this week.
Hey, final thing for me on 4th and 31. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, you're being immortalized by the great Daniel A. Moore. They are doing a portrait 4th and 31 based on that one play. So Alabama fans are going to love you. They're going to have you immortalized forever. But going into that play, I was like, they're probably going to go to Niblack or Benson, one of the taller guys. Did you know you were going to Isaiah the entire time?
So it's hard to say because when you let the play develop, you see different things at quarterback, looking into the end zone. And so, looking at the play, I was letting it develop. And then as the play developed, I soon got off of it and then went to a one-on-one. And so IB was one-on-one, so I tried to give him a shot.
Burton's waving in the end zone. I mean, Burton's like, man, I'm open. I'm open.
Yeah.
What did he tell you? I know we scored, man, but I was open too.
He did cut right when you were about to throw. He did cut right in the front of the end zone.
I know it's like after you throw the ball, it's like, oh, I could have hit this guy. Oh, I could have hit this. It's a different thing after you throw the ball. It's like, I had him.
Oh, that was my reaction. And right as you were letting go, I was like, damn it. Burton's open right there. Come on, Jalen.
Well, you know what? You had time. So
yeah, that's right.
If you decided not to go to Isaiah, you would have time to check down to Burton again. So,
hey, so you're getting ready for the Georgia Bulldogs. I know you've been breaking down tape because you work so hard on that all the time. The history between Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, they've influenced each other. How much looking at their defense, their schemes and everything is like looking at your defense and your schemes? Is there a lot that is alike between the two styles of defenses?
Yeah, there's similar in type of defense they run. Of course, different coaches add different things to how they coach and, add to defenses. But, Coach Smart came from Alabama. So, Coach Saban and him, worked together, and he definitely brought some things from Alabama over to Georgia. But the biggest thing is the structure of defense and how physical they play. Play very physical to play as a team. And so as far as game planning, the biggest thing we had to do is just focus in and then really just understand the game plan. But at the end of the day, we've had reps against this type of defense, and so I feel like we're prepared.
You've obviously had to you've been on a team that had to deal with what you're dealing with right now, an emotional Iron Bowl ending and a quick turnaround to play this exact game. So what do you draw from your experience in that?
Yeah. So, like before, the biggest thing for me is I saw football in different lenses. As I've been in college, having a great leader in Bryce Young, and then the different guys on offense that were leaders for us. And the biggest thing they did well was have singular focus and just do their job. And then honestly, just be where their feet are. I think that was something that separated our team that year, with just how well we just focused in. And, to talk about this year, the biggest thing we just had to do was just do our job, and to really, really just lock in together and use our family acronym.
Well, good luck against Georgia, Jalen. As always, we appreciate the time, man. Great talking with you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
All right, buddy. You too. Take care. Jalen Milroe with us, the Alabama quarterback, presented by Crane Works, Rental Works, and Waste Works. The big guy says rent from the big dog. Crane Works, Rental Works, and Waste Works. He was with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. According to numerous reports, looks like he'll be playing without Jace McClellan behind him. Did not practice again, and at least among reports, the expectations are he will not be able to go Saturday.
Yeah, but as we discussed in one of our videos that you can go watch on 3 big questions for Alabama, I personally don't think that is as major of a problem as it was the last time these two teams met in the SEC championship, when there was talk that Brian Robinson wouldn't play. Brian ended up gutting it out and being just enough of a run impact in that game to help Bryce Young and Alabama pull the upset. I think Alabama's running back room is very deep. Remember that time they didn't have Roy Dell. They didn't have Jace to step in there and do the things that you've got now.
They had Trey Sanders, right? I think that was the backup in that game. And
Trey
Sanders he was limited for most of his career.
Yeah, look, and they don't have a ton of experience, but you got Jam Miller, you got Justice Haynes, so you do have. But
you got depth.
I expect Roy Dell to probably get 80% of the touches out of the backfield.
Yeah, and you can go and check out our interview with Mike Johnson, former Alabama great offensive lineman, and also in the NFL. And we discussed yesterday why Roy Dell could be so good against Georgia this weekend, and what role Jam actually has in this game this weekend. He's been progressing and getting more snaps as the season goes on. Big announcement coming up here in about 3 minutes here on the show. A couple of great sponsors to tell you about. One of them, our friends at Redmont Vodka, Redmont Distilling.
Yeah, great locally owned and operated product this holiday season. If you're heading to a house for a holiday party, pick up a bottle of Redmont Vodka. If you're at a local bar or restaurant, ask for it by name. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. It's available in 22 states. It's gluten-free. It's 8 times distilled. It is Redmont Vodka.
And also Greg from Pell City on Facebook, or Greg Nelson and Storm Restoration Roofing. Had somebody call me yesterday and said, listen, I hear you talk all the time about Greg Nelson and Storm Restoration Roofing. Do you really believe the things you say? And I laughed and went, yes, absolutely. First off, don't believe me. Believe the Better Business Bureau. A+ rated with them. They don't just give that out. Insurance companies trust him. In fact, this person said the insurance guy sort of recommended Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing, which tells you a lot about how they think of Greg Nelson and Storm Restoration Roofing. So another next round viewer and listener is signing on with Greg from Pell City as we speak. You can get that free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. Just call him up, talk to him. He and his wife own the company, locally owned for over 20 years, or just look him up on Facebook. Contact him that way, Greg from Pell City. It is Storm Restoration Roofing. You want to fill a little time here?
Doesn't matter. It's up to you, man. You make the call.
No, I mean, this is your announcement. I don't want to go too soon.
It's your announcement, bro.
How's it my announcement?
I mean, I'm going to let you do all the details. We're 3 minutes ahead of the time you teased. You want? I got field time.
Let's get to the time I tease.
Okay,
Let's get to 10:20.
I've got some field things.
That's a good idea.
NFL tonight.
Seattle
and Dallas. We're at Crestwood Tavern for this one. It's a good game. Pretty amazing stat here. 53 weeks since the Dallas Cowboys beat a team with a winning record.
That is what is so amazing about this.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
This
now, some of that's the offseason.
Well, sure, but still.
Yeah, look, they've played up and down the competition. Everybody's talking about these 3 consecutive games that they've won. They've played 2 elite teams. They got beat 42-10 against San Francisco. They had every opportunity to beat Philadelphia, but they didn't. So they're 0-2 against really good teams. And now you're playing a Seattle team that is fighting for their playoff lives. And Pete Carroll, this would be 3 consecutive losses under Pete Carroll. You never see that.
And they've lost 3 of 4. So they're in a slump. So this could be 3 straight losses. And in those games, Geno has gone back to the guy we thought he really, really was. They haven't scored 16 points.
Yeah, but I still have a little confidence in Geno, and this is an inflated number, and I'm really surprised the number's as big as it is, sitting at 8.5.
So if somebody prematurely this morning jumped on mybookie.ag using the promo code next round and gave Dallas minus the points and the over, you don't think that parlay is going to hit tonight, do you?
I'm just so interested to see when you run out of money.
Dude, I've doubled up my money since last week. I mean, I hit a big parlay, and then I laid it all on Auburn last night. I'm swimming in it, right? You want me to take you guys to lunch?
Yeah.
On my bookie money?
Would you?
Yeah. I mean,
you're swimming in it.
It's good for me right now.
So like Scrooge McDuck diving in a pool of quarters.
It's good for me right now.
Hey, Seattle, here's the problem for them, though. And even if they lose this game, they're not even out of the playoff picture in the NFC.
Oh, no, it's doubled.
But here's their problem, Lance. Listen to this this next 2 games. At 49ers, at home versus the Eagles.
Yeah, we saw what the 49ers just did to them.
Yeah, and now you got to go do that on the road. Then you get the best team in the NFL, the Eagles, coming to your place.
By the way, 49ers and Eagles play each other this week in the premier game of the weekend.
Yeah, huge game this weekend. 2 teams that do not like each other.
And you're battling a Rams team that's already swept you.
Yeah.
So, like, let's just say Seattle loses tonight. They drop to 6-6. Rams beat Cleveland on Sunday. They're 6-6. Head-to-head, Rams are in.
Yep. Now, I will say they close at Titans, host Steelers, at Cardinals. So they got a soft finish, but they could be done before they get to that stretch right there. So I think it is a key game for them tonight. If I was going to have to win one of these, at Cowboys, at 49ers, home versus the Eagles, I probably feel best about winning at the Cowboys.
Yeah, 5-0 though this year, the Cowboys, and they've outscored their opponents 205-60. But as we pointed out, hasn't been the same type of competition as some other teams have played in the National Football League this year that are not in the NFC South. 7:15 Amazon Prime tonight for that one with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit, as it's Seattle and Dallas, and we'll be at Crestwood Tavern 5 to 7 this evening with our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, as we get ready for another Bud Light game night tonight. And then tomorrow we're in Atlanta for the SEC championship, and that gets us to 10:25 when I tell you that we've got Bud Light game night tonight. We've got Atlanta tomorrow. We've got Florida-Bama next week.
Yes.
And then after that, some more fun. Brownie.
Wednesday the 13th, up in the Rocket City of Huntsville, the Rocket City Classic is going to be played. Now, I believe the game is officially a sellout. So you're going to have to go secondary market for tickets. They have sold this out because it's Auburn basketball, and you know how passionate Auburn basketball fans are. Not only do they pack out Neville Arena, but they travel well. Now, this is obviously going to be a home game for them, but it's going to be played in Huntsville, sold out. The place is going to be packed. It's going to be a raucous environment. UNC Asheville is coming to town. UNC Asheville went to the tournament last year. They lost to UCLA in the first round of the tournament. So this actually is a matchup of 2 NCAA tournament teams from last year, as Auburn takes on UNC Asheville in Huntsville. You may be going to the game and sitting in the arena, and that's great if you are. But if you are not, the question would be, well, how would I watch this game, right?
How would you watch
How would you watch this game? You would watch this game on SEC Network Plus. It's going to be streaming on the SEC Network. So SEC Network Plus, just like you get some of the football games and things like that, also on ESPN Plus. If you subscribe to ESPN Plus, you can get that game. And you will look at that and say, oh, that must be SEC Network announcers doing that game. Wouldn't that be your assumption?
That's right. Like the great Tom Hart, who's really good. Yeah.
Mike Morgan, those guys that do SEC Network games. You would be wrong in that assumption. Doing that game on the SEC Network and ESPN Plus would be these 3 idiots you're looking at right here and the very talented Emily Grace McWhorter on the sidelines. The next round will be bringing you on the SEC Network Auburn and UNC Asheville, and what they are describing is a Manning cast style telecast there on the SEC Network. So Greg Sankey clearly did not get this email. It has somehow slipped past the goalie here that the SEC Network's letting us do this game.
So Peyton, Eli, does that make me Cooper?
I don't know. I'll tell you this.
Cooper has a good time, Dunaway.
As much as I've loved the NFL and college football growing up, college basketball, like Big Mondays were like the thing. I didn't care who was playing, I was watching. And to ever think that we could live out this dream and that I could actually be on a college basketball call, and the quality opponents that we're going to be calling too, or the quality teams that are going to be involved, especially the Auburn Tigers. I mean, this is a dream come true.
And to do it on the SEC Network platform there, that's crazy.
Much respect for everything. We appreciate everyone signing off on it. So we're looking forward to that coming up.
Does Sankey know?
I don't know. I'll text him and see. The
Yeah.
announcements go out today. We're the first announcement, and now Auburn and the good people up in Huntsville are going to announce it. So we'll see what happens.
We got to get
when they announce it.
Steven's got to bring Nelly though.
Okay.
Because Nelly's sitting in my lap for the broadcast.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah,
they're really mild-mannered pets.
Yeah, would be no threat.
Another dog delay as the dog is on the court.
Yeah, Von Braun Center is where the game is. Like I said, I think they're announcing a sellout already. Huntsville Madison County Convention and Visitors Bureau putting it on, but it's the 2023 Rocket City Classic presented by Akima, and it is officially sold out, I am told. SEC Network Plus. So
our friends at
ATIX,
our friends at ATIX can get you in there.
Yeah,
if you're a big Auburn fan,
stay home and watch us.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to doing that, and unless they bump us, which would also be a fun time.
Like when Sankey gets this memo and he's like, he calls the SEC Network and he's like, hey, I know I've been knee deep in football and college football playoff scenarios.
Yeah,
it's a no-go, dog.
It's a no for me, dog.
I just got this little text for these guys in Birmingham. What are we doing here?
So Manning Cast, that's one thing we bring up. Barstool does a couple of games each year. So that's another one you can reference. So maybe we're going to be able to make it a little different than the normal game broadcast. UNC Asheville and Auburn up there in Huntsville, right? We'll put our heads together and try to put a little next round spin on it.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Yeah, we're going to do that.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
But we will be courtside, right?
We're going to be courtside, yeah.
You're thinking a remote?
No.
Well, that's the way Manningcast does it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, hey, give us some lounge chairs. Remember they used to do the best seat in the house?
You know, I had thought about that, and I thought about reaching out to them and seeing if they would set up almost like at midcourt, almost like a living room set for us. You know, just a couple of recliners and things like that. I mean, off the court, so no player runs into us, right? Yeah, I mean, that's no more dangerous than a table sitting there, is it?
We don't know our roles yet. I'm hoping my role. Remember Jim Nance back in the day, coming up at the half. I want to be at the half guy. I want to be that guy.
Oh, so you're just going to do the halftime report? So me and Lance do the game, and Jim Dunaway joins us now. Jim, what you got coming up at halftime?
Yeah, we're going to sit down with Bruce Pearl. Had an interesting conversation with him, and of course, we'll go back to Dari in the studio for some other game highlights.
Yeah,
that's coming up. At the half.
All right, thank you, Jim. So that is December 13th.
Brought to you by somebody.
Hey, this is monumental for me. I've never been to the Von Braun Center.
I don't know that I have either. Have you?
I don't think I have either.
Wow.
You know what? I think my parents, and my parents would have to correct me on this if they're watching. They
went to see Elvis.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I was just guessing.
Yeah.
The Von Braun Center, it's a beautiful facility. It's been around that long.
To say my parents are that old? Yeah.
No, I tell you what happened is I hear a lot of people, I saw Elvis in Von Braun.
Yeah, I think they saw Elvis in the Von Braun Center. Yeah.
I've seen a couple of highlights of games played there. It always looks like a great venue for basketball. So we're excited about that coming up. What's the date again?
December 13th, 2 weeks from yesterday. 2 weeks from yesterday, Auburn, UNC Asheville in Huntsville. You will see us doing the game, Manning Cast style is what they say.
Little T, EG, we'll all be up there, and it should be a whole lot of fun. So look forward to that. We'll jump back into everything going on as we do our lobby show today, and then we're back in Atlanta tomorrow for another SEC championship. The show being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness. And if somebody can let Rockstar know it's time for 4 downs as well, go ahead and bring Rockstar in here. We'll get to 4 downs. But as he's doing that, Way to Wellness will get you ready for 2024 coming up. You can jump on that scale this morning. Maybe you're not happy with that number coming off of Thanksgiving. Maybe you'll do it after Christmas. You'll jump on that scale and you're like, man, I want 2024 to be the year that I get that youthful body back from my 20s. And you can do that with a plan from Leslie and her board certified team. Just go to that website, aplanforme.com, and that gets you on to Way to Wellness's site, and you'll find out there's no contract, there's no sign-up fees, and the first consultation is absolutely free. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. And LT, of course, Slice brings you 4 downs every day.
Hey, if you're out and about, 4 locations for you can get you a slice and a salad. They do that every single day. Great daily special. Of course, every night. How about the pickup special? $75. You get the 2 specialty pizzas, 12 fire-baked wings, half pan of the salad, only $75. All 4 locations, 7 days a week. He always shows that ass, Greg. SliceBirmingham.com, local pizza, local ingredients.
What's up, Rocky? How are you today?
Good, guys. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Like we're about ready to run a credit card back here.
I feel good.
See your coin slot's right in my face, man.
Is a butterfly off center? Everybody says it's off center. How you guys doing?
Yeah,
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
You
Just
ever seen us in the lobby here?
No, there's some elevators behind you. Would y'all want to do some 4 downs?
Yeah, I'd love to.
You already did the sponsor, right?
Yeah, let's
Yes,
just do slides. Yep.
Today we're going to start a little different. We're going to start with first down.
All
So,
right.
first down.
Okay.
What isn't the flex that people think it is?
For me, and I guess the only way you can answer this is the way you view it, right?
Right.
Yes.
I've got one that's going to step on some family toes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, the flex that is not a flex to me is, and maybe this is the old man coming out at me, is the people that make their car. I don't know what you call it, but they make it louder. Like they do the muffler that makes it louder.
Yeah, I was next to like a Supra
Yeah,
on 280.
I know.
And it was so loud. I'm like, first of all, you're driving a Supra, and the second
Yeah.
thing is, why would you want your car that loud?
Yeah, that's just not the flex to me that I think the
I
person
think-
that has it thinks.
I think girls love it. Just driving past the neighborhood going like, God, that guy's car is awesome. That
So
Subaru.
loud.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll never be able
Yeah.
to sneak in past
Yeah.
curfew.
So that's not a flex to me.
For mine, it is owning a Tesla. I was driving. Where was I driving? It was a long distance. Where was I driving?
Oh, and by the
other
way,
day.
I agree. I
Yeah.
have 2 brothers that have Teslas.
Yeah.
Right? Are they proud of
And
them?
I mean, there's Teslas everywhere. They're
Oh.
not any more
They're not
expensive than a
exclusive.
regular car.
Yeah, I was going to Mentone,
Were you?
and so
And it's a Colt.
and I'm sitting there, and I can tell it's letting it drive itself
Right.
because it is staying in my blind spot the entire time.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'll speed up and get over into the lane so it can pass me or whatever, and I'm not changing my speed. It's changing its speed to where it will pass me, and then it's in my blind spot. Pass me, and it's in my blind spot. Just was so frustrating. Then we were coming up on a construction zone. It didn't feel like it was driving exactly the right way. It just drove me crazy the entire way up. I never was in love with Tesla, but I fell even further out of love with them on that one drive
No,
up.
I think it's a great call. I'll go Tesla.
Oh,
as
you're
well.
going to jump in too
Yeah.
on your own family
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Family on family. Taylor
I
on Taylor Crown
have
right here.
never understood it, and they'll get together around holidays and they'll start talking about, have you seen the new Plaid? Or I'm like, dude, I don't care. And last year at Christmas, brother came over and the Tesla played like some kind of holiday thing.
Hell yeah.
And he's like, you got to come watch this. And I'm like, turn it off immediately. Like, as obnoxious as my neighbors are with the leaf blowers, I don't want them to have to hear this.
Second down. What was polite 30 years ago, but is considered impolite today?
Let me give a shout out to Ron Franklin when you called some chick Sweet Cheeks.
Wow.
She'd be like, hey.
Oh, that's a good one. I always
Yeah,
forget
you
about
know
that.
what? Sweet Cheeks, thank you. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, honey, somebody call me Sweet Cheeks
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah.
Now you get sued, or
Yeah.
you get fired, or you get canceled.
GYAT, girl.
for
I told him about that.
Yeah.
Girl, your ass stink.
Thank you.
I would say that little bit. Something slipped out the other day
Huh?
with Emily Grace, and I called her. Oh, it's okay, a little bit. And I thought to myself, oh, I felt dirty. I don't know why.
Little
It's just a little
bit.
bit, but
It sounds a little dirty.
hugging is not as a welcome thing as it used to be.
I don't know. I still, clients come up here, I'll give them a hug.
I think I hug more now than I used to.
Yeah.
Well, my big
You
thing.
just can't grab ass when you hug.
Well, you can't.
Well, how did
More of that in a moment.
No, my dad taught me a trick when you hug a guy how to grab an ass
Yeah.
to make it look like it's not sexual. But
that's how
my
they hug
example-
in prison.
something that's in my example is always an uncomfortable thing for me is say you're shopping at a grocery store and you're on an aisle and you see a little girl who's 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old. So you start to, interact with her, say, hey, but then you see the mom who's like looking at you like, what are you doing? That kind of thing. But there's not a nice way to interact with a child a strange child when a parent's there, because they're looking like, is this guy suspect, or what does he have bad
Yeah, that was
intentions?
done away on that flight.
We will never let you forget that.
So odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that flight after the time I almost got you fired.
Yeah, that's it.
God,
I
those
tried
are
to get you
flights.
fired.
There we go.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you've recently tried to get me fired, I only know of the time at Cumulus.
I would
Things that continue to come up.
I would say, used to in athletics, and maybe even a little bit more like out in public, you would see a guy do make a big play, and he'd always get swatted on the rump, right? You just don't see that much anymore. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I shave for the shower.
No, I mean,
because you get the full cheek.
Is
It
it
used to be like
is it
DP.
more of a homophobic thing?
I don't know what it is, Lance, but it just doesn't happen anymore. I mean, we celebrate different ways. You know, people
Can you not slap them and say no homo?
I don't know. I don't know that that's it. I
do not remember. I do remember the AJ McCarron, the big ass slap that Saban gave him.
Saban
That had to leave a palm.
Oh, yeah. I know Saban hit him hard.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, things change. You know, I would imagine in the 60s or 70s, you'd complete a pass, run back to huddle, and they give you 10 down low, and you do that. That kind of stuff, or high fives and stuff. So I think
celebrations
change.
Yeah, but that one was a unique celebration from the very beginning.
All right, third down. How are you doing? What 80s song have you never gotten tired of?
For me, Colors. Ice-T's Colors.
Colors.
I am a
Colors.
nightmare
Was that
walking,
80s or 90s?
psychopath talking.
88, I believe.
Yeah, it was 88.
Wow.
This was going to be a
Such
weird
a
one.
good tune.
I mean, there are a lot of 80s songs I like. Do y'all ever listen to 80s on 8?
Yeah.
I like 80s on 8.
Rocky last night played a little Eddie Money, Take Me Home tonight.
That's a good
during,
song, Rockstar.
during trivia.
Just like Ronnie said.
Rockstar, I want to know what love is. Foreigner, was that 80s?
Yes.
Okay,
Ooh,
that's
either
it.
late,
I
early
didn't know
80s.
if it made the cut. I was going to ask you if it made the cut. Love that song. Want to know what love is. Lou Graham, just such a unique voice for Foreigner.
I was a big Foreigner fan.
I'll give you another one though.
I want you to show me.
Well, I mean,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll give you another one. Do you remember Mike and the Mechanics, The Living Years?
Oh, it was not a Mike and the Mechanics guy.
Wow, that's their only song. What else did they do?
No, they did something else.
Did they? I don't remember anything else from Mike and the Mechanics, but
And
I always like that one.
And I know Dunaway's is going to be Come On Eileen.
It is not. That's my least favorite.
Texas Midnight Run.
One bad experience with Eileen.
But as I'm rolling through this,
We know how it ended.
the 80s have some songs that just make me just want to drive my Tesla into the woods. Like We Built This City is one of the worst.
Starship.
One of the worst songs of all time.
Well, yeah, I think it has been, like, if you look at worst songs on list, it is at the top of the list.
But number one is going to be Don't Stop Believing by Journey, right? That's an 80s song, and I never get tired of hearing that. Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Yeah, I just wonder if it still has the presence without the Sopranos.
Oh, yeah, I think it does because of
I don't
Glee.
think it does.
I'll give you another one, Rockstar.
I don't know that.
I'll give you another one.
Do you think Glee does it without the Sopranos doing it?
I don't know. They covered a lot of things on Glee.
Yeah. Your Love by the Outfield.
It's a great.
That's a fantastic
great song.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just go on and on.
No, I
with
like
this.
80s music. I mean, it's obviously when I was growing up. I mean, we got a lot here. Boys of Summer. A lot of people saying Boys of Summer. The old. I'll tell you what. I actually liked Heart of the Matter more by Don Henley than I did Boys of Summer. Africa.
All she wants to do is dance.
That is there. Yeah. Yeah, it is there. Jukebox Hero, some say. So there you go.
Yeah, that's
Eye of the
good for
Tiger.
Now this one, fourth down. I can't do mine because I think Brown's still watching it. But fourth down. Hey, watch out! Ooh, man, watch out! Ooh. You can have one fictional character not die on the show they were on. Who do you choose?
All right, you said I'm still watching it. Let me ask you: was it a surprising suicide? Is that the one you referenced?
You talking about Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
No. There's one character.
Oh no! Was it a surprising visit from somebody? I told Lance I saw it the other day.
Yeah, and I could do without. I mean, it's a good character, but I mean, didn't matter to me.
Is that the one you're talking about in the apartment? In their
No.
apartment, guy walks in.
No.
There's another one.
There's another one. So you haven't finished it yet.
I have not finished Better Call Saul.
There's one of my favorite characters on Better Call Saul that.
He's not talking about the one I texted
No.
you about. Okay.
That
That one though was so like
that was shocking.
that was shocking.
It was so sudden.
Yeah, it was. You just did not see it coming. And Jennifer and I were watching. There are two, that one on Better Call Saul, and then there was one on Justified, both people being shot. Somebody's girlfriend shot them late and Justified. And in both those situations, that's 2 times I can remember in my chair just sitting up, mouth open, like, I cannot believe I just saw that.
For me, it was 2 of the greatest shows of all time. Christopher Moltisanti, when Tony chokes him out. And then Omar Little, when, an 8-year-old shoots him in the back of the head. I mean, this guy was the ultimate gangster, feared by everybody, and a kid takes him out. So if you haven't seen those, that's on you. But those are 2 fictional characters I never wanted to see go away.
What's crazy? I asked my wife these questions last night, and her answer, I kind of agreed because we separately, when we worked together, we watched Walking Dead. At the time when, what's his name, Negan came in, and Glenn died.
Yeah.
got his head bashed
Yeah,
in.
see, I'd
The
stop
show
watching by
jumped
then.
the shark there, and then why did you kill Glenn? Like Glenn was one of the best characters. I think that's when I stopped
Was
watching.
he the sheriff?
He was the Asian guy,
He was the former police
Maggie's
pizza
boy.
delivery guy. Did he get beaten in the head with that?
He got the bat. He got destroyed. Like it was a very graphic scene. Like graphic death.
So he wasn't getting up from that.
No, Maggie was all pregnant and just looking at him go. It was sad.
Well, we got a lot of them in the chat room. You want to give yours, or you want me to?
Oh, I don't have one.
You don't
Nobody
have one?
ever dies in the shows
Yeah,
I
you
watch.
watch the happy shows.
Yeah.
A lot of. I feel like spoiler alerts all over the place.
That's
right
why I
now.
didn't say mine, but like
I don't know.
it was a sad scene for me on Better Call Saul.
I mean, all of mine are 20 plus years.
All right, there's a death. Many people. There's a death that was in Game of Thrones that a lot of people are talking about. There is Daniel Lane on Mad Men.
Yeah, Lane hangs himself in the cubicle.
Yeah, bad way to go.
That's a bad day.
It was.
How was work today? Well, we lost Daniel.
Lane got a little behind on his payments.
No, but hey, somebody immediately moved into his office.
Yeah, they did. They basically cleaned up and moved in.
Those corner offices were hard to come by back then.
Patrick,
what was the Game of Thrones one?
I hate to say it.
Why?
I mean, well, because people may not have watched Game of Thrones.
Well, that's on them.
Well, it's not. I mean, some people just.
What's the expiration date of that?
Oh my god!
For spoilers like that, because Better Call Saul was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm still watching it.
Yeah. So what's the expiration?
Game of Thrones was 4 or 5 years.
Karen says Goose on Top Gun.
It needed to happen.
But he had to motivate.
Yeah.
It had to motivate Pete Mitchell, man.
Yeah. And
saved America twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have Little Goose.
Several people are talking about Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake on MASH. Now that was well before my time, but I have seen it since then.
Contractual thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I think most of these are.
Yeah. And that the way it was delivered, though, the way the
old ones were like what was Good Times, the dad John Amos in that one, and Colonel Blank. Those were contractual, but the other ones, the Omar Little and the Christopher Maltasante, that was just part of the storyline.
Oh, really? You don't think?
No.
Yeah. Do you, Rockstar? Do you not think in yours that? Which one did you give? Not the one you didn't want to spoil, but you gave another one, right?
Glenn from Walking Dead.
Glenn from Walking Dead. That show went on for years. Do you not?
It did, but I think that was the point. Like he was one of the most beloved characters because he wasn't really a controversial character. Like,
but do you think that he contractually they couldn't?
That I don't know because he's done a series on what's it called, The Meat or something like that. He did a series on Netflix, an original. He really hasn't done anything. It's like he said, I'm doing an acting career.
Yeah,
so,
I think you could have got him for
Andrew Lincoln, the guy that played what the hell is his name? The sheriff. They just wrote him off like he's going to be in a movie. They're going to do a Walking Dead movie or something like that. So they just wrote him off the show where he just disappeared.
Mike says Brooks on Shawshank. That is sad, man.
That was necessary though.
Such a nice human though, but he gets out and he just can't deal with it.
Yep. Life moves fast, man.
It does.
Yeah. All right. That's
Good job,
Rockstar
Rockstar.
4 Down today, brought to you by the great folks at Slice. Show also being brought to you by our friends at Hempill and Bandwagon. Tell us about Bandwagon first, the great local sports.
Hey, what do you want me to do?
I would just take the headset off and walk out of here.
Make sure you're muted over there.
If you want to get some new gear, go to Bandwagon.
Bandwagonsports.com. Bandwagonsports.com. The thing we like about Bandwagon Sports is they've got the high-end gear with your local team's logos on it. So a lot of times you could find maybe that local high school team, and their logo is on a bunch of gear that you're like, I'm not crazy about the quality of this gear, but I want the logo of my kids' teams. Not a Bandwagon, man. It is high-end stuff that you will really, really like. They take care of the sports teams. Like if you're trying to outfit your travel ball team, your youth league ball team, they take care of that. But it's not just like some random sporting goods store. This is a high-end, very, very nice sporting goods store. And you can find them in some great locations. They are in Trussville, Cahaba Heights, and also Mountain Brook is where you can find them. And I was just looking for this text right here. I think Today, our friends at Bandwagon Sports opened their Mississippi location, Madison, Mississippi.
Hello, Madison, Mississippi.
Welcome aboard the Bandwagon, Madison, Mississippi. Bandwagonsports.com.
Go to Bandwagon for the sip.
Bandwagonsports.com is where you go. And I'm telling you what, man, you got a Christmas list, you got a holiday shopping list, go into Bandwagon Sports, fill the thing out, you're done with it. Bandwagonsports.com. Welcome aboard, Madison, Mississippi.
And our friends at Hempill as well. It's cold outside at times at night, LT, and you need our friends at Hempill.
Yeah, make sure that unit is keeping up with this changing weather. $69 checkup right now, 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Tell them that X Round sent you. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
I said Mount Brook, actually Homewood there for Bandwagon. I don't want people to get lost looking for it in Mount Brook. I said Homewood. My bad.
Our friends at Bandwagon and our friends at Hemp Hill bringing you our show from the lobby today. Don't forget Crestwood Tavern tonight. Come say hi to us 5 to 7 out in Crestwood. Bud Light Game Night is happening tonight as we get ready for the big game between the Seahawks and the Cowboys. LT has a play on that one, either a side or a total at lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com. We'll talk more NFL with Dan Orlovsky coming up just past the top of the hour, and then we'll do trash right after that. Back to college football we go here. And I'm sort of here for what happened yesterday in the Big 12. Big 12 coaches voted.
Wow.
Coach of the year is Mike Gundy. 9-3 Mike Gundy. Not coach of the year, 12-1 Steve Sarkisian. Voted by the Big 12 coaches.
And Mike Gundy got blown out by South Alabama and Central Florida. I mean, blown out, like run off the field by those two.
Yeah,
teams.
but still, I mean, the turnaround, there was no expectation for that team. I got no problem with it.
Oh, I did.
Oh,
Steve Sarkisian's your coach of the year. This is so petty.
It's all about
Sarkisian's got. I mean, the players he's got. And
But
I know he went out and got them.
That's part of coaching is the
Yeah.
players. It's all about him leaving. They're leaving for the SEC. And
This
the
is
Big 12
petty.
coaches voted for Big 12 coaches.
You don't think this is petty? That pure pettiness is driving this?
Maybe. I mean, I think Gundy's actually a better coach. But I guess that doesn't really matter.
I mean, I think Gundy is probably the better coach, but it's not a Lifetime Achievement Award. It's for this year.
Yeah.
So you guys think Mike Gundy? It seems like y'all have gone back and forth on Gundy
I
over his
haven't.
long time.
I think he's a better. You don't think he's a better coach than Sark?
Then Steve Sarkisian?
Yeah.
No way close.
Jim,
Nowhere
just
close.
compare their records. Steve
Yeah.
Sarkisian is
Yeah.
coached at USC.
Hey, this is his first 10-win season.
What is he
It is.
talking about
It
here?
is.
Sark is a
Just
joker.
compare the
I don't think
records.
Sark is a joker. I think he had a problem and he's fixed that problem and now he's winning games.
I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Jim, he was coaching at USC and was basically a 500
Yeah.
coach. Mike Gundy is coaching at Oklahoma State and has
Yeah.
been a win away from the playoffs
You
numerous
guys,
times.
you guys did this with Dan Mullen for years.
If Sark
at
never would have
Mississippi
coached
State.
at Alabama, you wouldn't be saying this.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. The guy is a good coach. He's a great play caller, and
He's a great play caller. I'll
Yeah.
give you that.
Yeah, he's a good offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and what
And
is
this year he's been a really good head coach, but
Yeah.
he does not have the track record Mike Gundy has, and it's not
Nope,
close.
not even close.
And he's had much better jobs.
y'all do this? You did it with Dan Mullen for years, and then when he got a job that wasn't one of those where you could hit at a lower level and impress people, he went to Florida and fell on his face. Mike Gundy would do exactly the same thing as Dan Mullen. He would go to a program that could get good
Okay.
players, and he would
Well,
fall
you
on
don't
his
know
face.
that. We know that Sark did that.
Mike Gundy has
I mean,
played for
that's
conference
proven.
championships.
Yeah.
I think Mike Gundy has won conference
Yeah, Mike
championships.
Gundy arguably should have been in the national championship game in 2011.
You cannot put him in the same category as Dan Mullen at Mississippi State. They're
I'm
not the- it's
just
not-
saying you guys are talking the same way.
No,
Oh, he's doing it at Oklahoma State. I heard it for years of you guys. Oh, he's doing it at Mississippi State.
but it doesn't matter where Mike Gundy is. His record is better. I don't have to dumb it down to say you gotta scale this up because it's Oklahoma State.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's a
matter where it
better
is.
record.
So if
Yeah.
you're hiring right now for your football program, who you hiring Mike Gundy over Steve
No,
Sarkisian?
I think he's a better coach. He's a joker, though, too.
yeah, I mean,
So,
there's a lot that comes
yeah.
with that.
Okay, but so who's the better coach? Who are you
Mike
hiring?
Gundy is the better
Mike
football coach.
Gundy's better.
So you
coach.
would hire Mike Gundy over Steve
Well, I mean,
Sarkisian. If
just
those are
based
the
on
only,
track record.
those are
yeah.
the only two choices you have.
Yeah, based on track record.
I hope we're in the same conference. I'd hire Steve Sarkisian.
I'm just saying. I mean, the record speaks for itself. Gundy's 165 and 78, 102 and 63 in conference.
Hey, and you talking about a shit the bed moment. Now I'm pulling harder for Gundy on Saturday because that would be the ultimate, a 15.5 point favorite. All you got to do is win the game.
That's your coach of
This
the year.
would be a typical Sarkisian game.
One guy to the NFL that I didn't think would, I thought maybe he would come back. And one guy who I thought would go, Spencer Rattler to the NFL. Had
Very
another year if
surprised.
he wanted it.
They couldn't even get bowl eligible. I'm really surprised that he didn't come back, especially with how deep this quarterback draft is. I guess he couldn't have transferred out because he's already got the one transfer.
Yeah, but maybe he's got his degree now and could transfer. I don't know that. But
I would have taken a look at that.
if he just stayed there at South Carolina, you don't know what next year's draft is going to look like,
Right.
obviously. But it is crowded. I don't know where Spencer Rattler factors in. I assume he'll be great in workouts and combines.
Might be, but my thing with Spencer Rattler is, let's say he stays in Columbia, you can get a nice NIL deal. I would assume they would want him to stay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, way better at South Carolina than I thought he was going to be. I don't know about you guys. Did he exceed your expectations?
Yeah, look, first part of last year, really good to end the season. First half of this season, really good. Got a little shaky there at the end. Ended up being a very disappointing year for South Carolina.
Really a lot like Shedeur. A bad offensive line, dodging bullets, having to cover up a lot of holes with his arm and his play. Really surprised that J.J. Pegues is coming back at Ole Miss. He made that announcement last night on his social media platform. That guy continues to improve as a defensive lineman. So athletic, even runs plays as a running back. Those people cash checks in the NFL, and he decides to come back at Ole Miss, which, you always make a point NIL-wise. You can still make a little bit of money in college too.
I guess. I don't know his position, how much you can.
And probably still learning that position.
Yeah, probably so. Maybe a little bit surprising. I don't know if I would say surprised or not on Spencer Rattler, though. That is, part of me could see him. Part of me could see him coming back, trying to, again, elevate his stock and be in a quarterback draft that might be more favorable for him.
Yeah. All right. So that's some college football headlines. We'll talk to Orlovsky about the NFL coming up at the top of the hour. Then we'll do trash and put a wraps on today's show. That's being brought to you in part by our friends at Alabama Power. Alabama Power reminding you to keep up with payments, maybe usage, maybe just outages in your area, and when power will be restored. You can use the great mobile app in your Apple or Android store. Just go to alabamapower.com/mobile app, alabamapower.com/mobile app. Looking ahead to the SEC championship, and we'll do a lot more on that game tomorrow. And we've all debated this on some other videos for Taylor and stuff. Alabama wins the football game if, and Georgia wins the football game if. I'll start with you, LT. Alabama wins the football game if
Jalen Milroe has a monster game. I think we saw it with Bryce Young 2 years ago. I think Jalen Milroe's got the potential to do it. I think Roman Harper had a really good point on talking about 2 years ago that Bryce Young needed to throw the football. He did throw the football. Jamison Williams was the difference maker. But here, Jalen Milroe, on some of those unscripted runs, this could be the difference because Georgia has not seen that the entire year. On the other side, if Georgia's going to win this football, they need a healthy Brock Bowers. I don't care, whoever told you Caleb Downs, I've heard, people say Caleb Downs, his weakness right now is pass coverage.
Yeah.
And he is, he's had an unbelievable freshman year. I don't know if, it doesn't matter who's on that guy, though. You can't cover him.
I think it ends up being more Malachi Moore.
Probably so. He's going to get yards. Brock Bowers is. Here's what you got to do with Brock Bowers. You got to keep him from turning that 5 or 6 yard reception into a 30-yard reception. He's going to catch footballs. You got to try to get him to the ground, though, and limit what he does to you. Don't let him turn a 5 or 6 yard reception into a first down or a 10 or 12 yard reception into a touchdown. That's what you got to do with Brock Bowers. You just got to accept that at the end of the game, Brock Bowers could have 80 yards receiving, and I don't lose the game, right?
Yep.
I mean, Brock Bowers, 80 yards receiving. There's no guarantee you lose that game.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good game for him, though.
Yeah, 150 yards, you got problems.
150 yards or 80 yards and 2 touchdowns, and you got problems. That's the thing about it.
So you did your Georgia wins already. Alabama wins the game. Why?
I think Alabama wins the game because Jalen Milroe can beat you so many different ways now.
If you missed it earlier, Roman Harper was with us, and you can go back and catch it on all our platforms. But he said, I want Jalen Milroe them to call 35, 40, 45 pass plays for him.
Not that he necessarily wants him throwing that many times, but those called plays open the door for him to scan the field and pick a run lane and go, right? That might turn into a first down, maybe turn into a 30-yard gain, maybe turn into a touchdown. But I think this is the type of quarterback that Kirby Smart and Nick Saban have dealt with or have struggled to deal with their entire career. The way they play defense, Luganville does a good breakdown on this on Ball. If you want to go watch it, the links are in the description on our YouTube channel. But go look at Ball with Luganville. He does a breakdown on why the Saban coaching tree has struggled with a mobile quarterback and what it is they do. And they're not alone in this. Mobile quarterbacks that can throw are hard to defend. And I'm with Roman. I think Jalen Milroe has earned the right for you to hand him the football game and say, go win this football game for us, man. You go, you make some throws, you make some runs, you go win this football game with us. He's earned the right that I think you can trust him to do that. You certainly don't have to play around him.
Yeah, and I think that was early on where Tommy Rees, Nick Saban, whoever said, hey, look, you don't need to necessarily run the football. Look to throw first.
Yeah.
Now it's, hey, green light on everything.
Yeah. Or we might limit our play calls because we don't totally trust you throwing the football. To Roman's point, he has shown you since the Texas game, he's not going to turn it over a lot. That was the big fear about Milroe in the offseason was how much he turns the football over. And he's shown you now he's not going to turn it over a lot. So I do think you can hand him the game and say, go win the football game.
Yeah, Milroe's been so good in those big games. Second half, Tennessee, LSU, and when he has to do it, he's proved he could do it. Except the Texas game where he just seemed to be a different quarterback.
I think this is Tommy Rees's, and somebody says this in the chat room. SS says in the chat room. Tommy Rees's biggest moment, obviously, at Alabama. I mean, excuse me. This is going to be the toughest defense you've faced all year long. There's more on the line right now than you will ever have this year. So unless you win this game, then much more on the line. This is his biggest moment at Alabama. Tommy Rees has to have a game. He's got to be a step ahead of Will Muschamp and Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart. That's the other thing I talked about with Luke and Bill about. Think about the defensive genius in this game right now. I mean, I'm talking on both sides. Think about the defensive guys that are involved in this game right now. And
from T-Rob to Kevin Steele to Nick Saban to Kirby Smart to Will Muschamp to Schumann.
Yeah, I mean, those guys have seen some football, man. Those guys have seen everything. They've defended everything.
And offense will end up winning this game.
Good. I mean, it could be a 32-30 game.
That was what my Alabama wins if they're comfortable in this game going into the 30s, because I think that's where it ends up.
Yeah,
I think it ends up being, 38 to 34 or 35 to 30.
Well,
something like that.
Don't you think that's where Alabama would say they'd rather play that game? I mean, you'd rather play the game however you come out ahead. But if you pin Nick Saban in a room today and said you can play this game in the teens or in the 30s, I wonder which one he'd pick.
Well, that says his offense is cooking.
If it's in the 30s, yeah, you're never out of it.
And this is crazy to bring up, but I mean, who's got the better quarterback right now? I mean, I'd lean back.
I would lean back, but I would take either.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Milroe is playing right now. Again, Milroe just had a game for the ages in the Iron Bowl.
Isn't Milroe fourth in the Heisman voting? The odds right now, fourth in the odds.
And he'll be either one of these two quarterbacks will be your odds-on favorite to win it to start next year. Don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know which one will lead the odds. Maybe it depends on how the rest of this year pans out.
If Penix has a bad game and Bo has obviously a great game, your three Heisman finalists could be Bo, Jaden, and if Jalen has a big game and wins against Georgia, he could get an invite.
Yeah,
which is insane.
So it could be former SEC quarterback, Pac-12 quarterback turned SEC quarterback, and SEC quarterback in New York for a league that's not known for their quarterback.
That's right, yeah. This year at least.
And all three have been benched in their career.
Yeah. At one time or another.
It's a hell of a storyline.
I remember the answer to this, but Mason asked, what was Lance's lean before the 2021 SEC championship game? A lot of similarities to where we are right now.
Yeah, it was Alabama. Now, I felt Alabama all week.
Yeah.
I'm starting to turn Alabama a little bit. I just think it's going to be a tight game. I'm not saying Alabama wins the game.
But you were 2 years ago, you were like, Alabama wins this football game.
This number's ping-ponging, 5.5, 6.5, 5.5, 6.5. If I can get Alabama at 6.5,
all in.
Good value.
No, I remember 2021. You kept saying they're not covering; they're winning the game, and I was like, dude, they could not block Auburn.
I know they were awful against Auburn.
What are they going to do with this Georgia defensive line that still at the time had Jalen Carter?
Yeah, I remember we were at Twin Peaks.
Yep.
In Buckhead, and those dudes were riding those three-wheel motorcycles. And it was so damn loud in circles.
Yeah.
And we had Barkley on the show.
Window was open behind us, yeah.
And Barkley was like, whatever amount you want to go, I'll take Georgia.
I do remember this, yes. Georgia right now at mybookie.ag minus 5.5. So Georgia favored 5.5. So you say it's hit as high as 6.5.
I saw 6.5 again last night.
Yeah, 5.5 at mybookie.ag, which appears to be where it has settled out right there.
Officially 11 o'clock now. This hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Doors open at 11 every day for lunch. Also open for dinner. Great bar scene. You can get your food to go, enjoy a nice cocktail with the wife, and then sit down and have a meal. Make it a date night. Go in there after work. However you want to do it. There's great food as well. The Southern Fried Chicken is what they're known for. Hand-cut chicken fingers, and then we always recommend you can't walk out of there without trying the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. Just fantastic. It's Champy's Chicken, Sterling and the Crew, Highway 119 down in Alabaster. Dan Orlovsky coming up in just a second, and then Trash a little bit later on. Did you see what Tyreek Hill said?
Tyreek says a lot of things.
Let me tell you what he says, and I want your reaction.
I hope it was nothing that's going to cost my Dolphins games.
Tyreek Hill says 2023 Dolphins better than the 2019 Super Bowl winning Chiefs.
Well, here's my problem with that is the Dolphins have not beaten anybody of substance. So I don't know that you can say that. Thank you. I don't know that you can say that. They have not beaten anybody of substance.
Well, and that's
my problem.
I know he lived that 2019 Chiefs, so there's some credibility inside of that. I'm sure his Chiefs teammates really appreciate that. But I wouldn't say that until you finish the deal.
Yeah.
Like if you win a Super Bowl, then you can come out and say, hey, look, this Dolphins team was better than the Chiefs team I won a Super Bowl with.
The AFC is a little messy, though. I don't know, how you guys think the Dolphins.
Your top seed is right now.
It's not Miami right now.
Baltimore,
It was
right?
Baltimore, but it's not anymore.
Nope.
It is now.
Because I had a big play on them Sunday. It was my biggest play, and I thought we would get home a little easier. And it took a lot of work, but they are your top seed in the AFC, which is incredible to think about this deep in the season.
Who is it?
Jacksonville.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
8-3 Jacksonville.
Yep.
So 8-3 is your top seed. Right?
Yeah. Now they play Baltimore in a couple of weeks. The Dolphins play Baltimore the next to last game of the year. So, I mean, you got to think, man, Cleveland was in the mix for this for a minute. I just don't see any way Cleveland can hold on.
Well, hopefully they lose this weekend.
We got a pretty good game tonight in Seattle and Dallas. But don't you think, because Monday Night Football is Cincinnati and Jacksonville this week, so it's Cincinnati without Joe Burrow. You think of how many games they had in prime time already with Aaron Rodgers. Don't you sort of wish the NFL was able to do like college and announce it like 2 weeks in advance so we could get out of some of these games with injuries?
Yeah. I mean, I would agree 100% with you.
It's a Burrow-less Cincinnati team.
If I'm a Bengals fan,
Jacksonville.
I am sick because rookie year he goes out with a season-ending injury, goes to a Super Bowl, go deep in the playoffs again, AFC Championship, and then they lose him for the season.
Yeah. I think Miami is going to end up winning that division. So, I mean, the Bills have played so poorly. So, Tyreek could be proven right if they can find a way to win the conference and go play in the Super Bowl. Maybe you're in that argument, but you got to make the Super Bowl pure and simple.
That NFL conversation brought to you by our friends at Champy's Chicken. Dan Orlovsky coming up in just a second. Champy'sChicken.com. Dan always joins us after his ESPN obligations or McAfee obligations on his way to his next stop. The guy's always on the move. Before he joins us, and Brown will interrupt me at any time, Andre Dawson. Remember big Andre Dawson?
The Hawk.
He is one of 3 players in the Baseball Hall of Fame with a Montreal Expo hat. The other 2, Gary Carter and Tim Raines.
Okay.
All right. He is petitioning, trying to get his hat changed because he says back in the day when he had to make the choice, he was torn between the Expos and the Cubs. And now 13 years later, after being in the Hall of Fame, he regrets not choosing the Chicago Cubs, helped out by the fact that Montreal Expos don't exist anymore. But he had 5 All-Star appearances as a Cub, 3 as an Expo. MVP with the Cubs. Didn't win the MVP with the Expos.
Yeah, but, came up an Expo, so there's probably something to that. But with the Cubs fans, as great as they are, I would rather be immortalized as a Cub.
When I think Andre Dawson, I don't think Montreal at all.
See, I'm a little bit older, so I think a little Montreal.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys that came up through the Expos early on were a little before my time, like Gary Carter. Think only Mets with Gary Carter.
But Gary Carter, Tim Raines, and Andre Dawson with the Expos. I mean, that team was legitimate. They were an out away from going to a World Series in 1981 where Rick Monday hits a walk-off, beats them on a Monday, by the way. Goes on, plays the Yankees.
Yeah, that's not a guy I think of with the Montreal Expos. I don't. Is there a process? I guess there's a process you could change that. I don't know that anybody's ever done. I think it's a silly thing that you only pick one team. I think that's kind of dumb.
Well, you would want to have blank hats?
No, I mean just
or a two-tone, like down the middle.
Maybe don't have hats. Like maybe do they not? I mean, they immortalize every team that they've played for, right?
There's a record, but you're wearing a hat because you're a baseball player.
Well, I know, but maybe they could just. The NFL doesn't make them wear a helmet. They got their bust.
By the way, there are several players who chose to have no logo on their hat.
Yeah, and that's fine. But I'm just saying it's just weird that you can only pick one. It's like, maybe my years in Montreal and Chicago are just the same.
Do you think Roger Clemens would have gone no logo?
I
mean, he had,
God, he played for a lot of teams.
I mean, Red Sox would be the nut and bolts, but I mean, the Blue Jays, he was great. The Yankees, he was great. The Astros, he was really good.
Well, I mean, the two examples I have of no logo on their helmets are big Atlanta Braves, but also played other places. Fred McGriff and Greg Maddux. They're in the Hall of Fame with no logo on their hats. One of a handful of guys who don't have a logo.
Well, I think it's our proximity to Atlanta, but I think of those guys as Braves only, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
know. Maybe Maddux had great years with the Cubs.
I always think of him as just the Braves.
McGriff was great with the Blue Jays.
Yep. But I actually think of McGriff with no logo on his hat doing those video commercials for the
Tom Lansky.
No, yeah, Tom Amansky.
Tom
Yeah,
Amansky,
Tom
yeah.
Amansky.
Yeah. No logos on the hats there.
Yeah.
All right. Bud Light game night tonight at Crestwood. This hour brought to you by Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We appreciate Sterling and his crew so much. Also by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision, LT.
Yeah, great special right now. It's funny. We were at Odie's after trivia last night looking across, and I was reading something on one of the screens, and this dude was like, "You can really read that?" I'm like, well, I got LASIK 20 years ago. 205-969-8100. A great deal right now before the new year. It's from our friends at Michelson Laser Vision in the next round. If you call 205-969-8100, you ask for Amy, you get scheduled, you are a candidate, and you get the procedure done by 12/31. You're going to get an incredible deal. 205-969-8100. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Scott just sent me this from over here. On 3 Sports reporting, DJ Uyunglele is in the transfer portal. Obviously, his coach is on the way to Michigan State. I don't know if he wants to take him with him to East Lansing.
He was good this year, not great.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of market DJ would have.
Upgrade over what Michigan State had this year.
Yeah, well, gosh, that's a very low bar. Dan Orlovsky is with us now. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky talking some football with us. He is presented by MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. They match that sign-on bonus 50% up to $1,000. What is up, Dan? How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you boys doing?
Man, we're doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. We were just talking about the Thursday night game. Dunaway gave me this stat earlier.
No, before you say it.
What?
It actually came from Dan Orlovsky.
Dunaway gave me this stat that some guy named Dan Orlovsky gave him. The
Probably
Cowboys have not beaten a team with a winning record in more than a calendar year. Is that what you said?
With their starting quarterback, they lost last year, or they beat Philadelphia last year, but Gardner Minshew was playing.
Right.
So 53 weeks since they have beaten a team that has a winning record and their starters playing. And like that's a lot of people, especially Cowboys fans, don't like when you kind of bring that up. They're still a very good football team. And everyone, like tonight, that's part of the reason why, like, I do think this is a really big game on top of what it means and still making the potential division matter. But it's more like, as an athlete who you are and who you aren't. If we all know all those things, then they know those things and they know that they haven't beaten anybody. And so it's like that finally that opportunity for them to play late in the year, good football team, and beat them. And I think they do. If they play, candidly, like if they play the way that they should win by 3 touchdowns. But sometimes they don't.
Was this your subtle hint to the producers of Get Up that we don't need to talk and lead with the Dallas Cowboys every single day?
I wish.
With Seattle, it's kind of a schizophrenic team because for whatever reason, Sean McVay has got Pete Carroll's number. Yeah. But outside of that, I've seen them look good. They went to Detroit. They won that game. I've seen them get destroyed by Baltimore and San Francisco. So I think Seattle's good. I just don't know where they are.
Yeah, so it's interesting. If we go back to last year, we talk about Seattle, and obviously Geno has such a great year. One of the things that they were so good at, and really what helped Geno play at a high level, but what helped their offense as a whole play at a high level, is they lived in 12 personnel, 1 back and 2 tight ends. A couple of things. One, I think Shane Waldron's really good at designing all kinds of offense around that personnel. And then 2, they were very balanced in regards to it. And then that Geno allowed Geno to play at a really high level. So they drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba this year at Ohio State. Great young wide receiver. And, immediately, and I'm guilty of, everyone's like, ooh, that 3 wide receiver personnel grouping, that was what we call 11, 1 back, 1 tight end. That's going to be really dangerous. And they have played in 11 a lot this year with those 3 receivers on the field. So less 2 tight ends, more 3 receivers. And they haven't performed that well in that grouping. So, while I sit here and say, man, JSN's a really good player, that's what's best for Seattle's offense, is to have all 3 of those guys, him, Lockett, and DK on the field at the same time. I think on film, I would sit here and say that's not the truth. Numbers-wise, that is not the truth. So I think for Seattle, it's like, are they going to settle into who they really are down this home stretch?
I'm interested. Did you ever have in your media contract, if an NFL team calls me out of retirement, I can get out of my deal because I'm looking at Joe Flacco, 38, possibly starting this weekend if DTR doesn't clear concussion protocol. And if that happens, how big of a game is it for the Browns, and what can Flacco do?
Yeah, I played last Thursday morning with a bunch of my 11-year-old sons and their buddies on a Thursday morning Thanksgiving Day game. I threw like 27 picks, and my arm was hanging after an hour, so no one, trust me, is calling me. Yeah, I think Flacco, he knows the offense schematically. I have no idea what kind of football shape he's in. So a high favorite for the Rams. I believe they play the Rams this weekend. So you look at the Rams and go, massive favorites. If DTR can't go, DTR's had some decent moments. Like he's been okay. They used his legs a little bit. That's been beneficial for their offense. So I don't know if Joe's going to step in and, oh my gosh, the performance is going to go from solid out of DTR to wow. Now they've got a pass game that's going to kind of carry that defense and them into the playoffs. So I think Joe could be fine. I don't see this massive improvement over what DTR has shown.
Dan Orlovsky is with us. He joins us each week courtesy of mybookie.ag. Code next round for that 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Code next round. Biggest game of the NFL this weekend, Eagles 49ers. I am told these two teams simply do not like one another, Dan. There is just no love lost between these two teams. It's a real rivalry.
Well, I think that goes back to the NFC title last year when, San Francisco is as good as anybody in ball. And I had picked San Francisco in that game to go to Philadelphia and win. And then Philadelphia beats the doors off of them, but that's because they were down to me playing quarterback. And so, it's like this one team sits there and says, well, we whooped you guys. And then the other team's going, we didn't have our guy. We didn't have our quarterback. So it's like, well, we whooped you. So it's kind of that. And there's that moment, Kittle standing on the field, and he's almost in disbelief after the game. So they're like, oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. And so I think that like San Francisco is sitting here going, we're about to show you guys what you lucked out on last year and how good we really are. And Philadelphia is sitting there saying, hey, we're the kings of the mountain. You got to come through us. And so it's going to be an awesome game. I put bluntly for me, like if Philadelphia falls behind in the first half the way that they have over their last 4 games, they won't be able to hang in this game. San Francisco's too good.
Is Bosa, Hargrave, Armstead, when healthy, and Young the best defensive line in the league right now?
Yes. I know that ever since Chase has come over, their sack numbers and pressure percentage has skyrocketed. I'm not a massive numbers person. Skyrocketed. So yeah, when those and he's been starting to get hot when those guys are all 4 on the same field and it's the pass situation. The only thing I would do a little bit is, man, Dallas, when Dallas thinks it's pass, they're hunting. So I think still that those 2 D lines, certainly in pass situations, are the 2 that you don't want to see.
So, look, these guys are immensely talented, some of the most talented quarterbacks in the league. But the fact of the matter is Josh Allen is now 0-5 in overtime games, and Justin Herbert has never won a postseason game. I don't know. I mean, people say they're the best quarterbacks in the league. They might be the most talented, but you got to have some intangibles. You got to be able to win these big games, right?
Yeah, so when we talk about the most talented, that's obviously a very individualized thing. When we talk about the best, everyone correlates it with wins and losses. And that's always a subjective conversation. Josh Allen's 0-5 in overtimes. Do you want to know what his overtime performances are per game? Because
yes.
I mean, he averages 370 yards per game in those 5 overtime losses. His offenses average 29 points in those 5 overtime losses. His defense gives up 32 in those games. So that's why it's always, wins or losses. It's this like contextualized conversation. Justin and Josh are both 2 absolute freakazoids. And like bottom line for me, are they good enough where they can win you a Super Bowl? They are the reason you win a Super Bowl. Both of those guys are yes. Josh more for me than Justin, But Justin is so immensely talented that I still feel good about saying that.
All right, he is Dan Orlovsky of ESPN. See him all weekend long talking about the big NFL games this weekend on ESPN. Thank you very much. Safe travels, Dan. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
All right, buddy. Take care. Dan with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round at sign on at MyBookie.ag. They'll do that 50% sign on match up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. MyBookie.ag. Code next round.
All right, we're about to knock out trash and call it a day here. So LT's got that queued up, ready to go. 3 things why he gets that together.
Yeah, I'm about to piss my pants, so I just want to make sure.
Are we gonna make it through trash?
I can make it through trash if that's all we're doing.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, you got trash in your hand. You ready to go?
Yeah, I got it right.
Grab it right there. While he's grabbing it, NASCAR media rights deal announced yesterday with Fox, NBC, Amazon Prime,
yeah, they're all over
and TNT.
Yeah.
But it was a $7.7 billion deal.
Wow.
So about $1 billion a year.
Amazon Prime is all in on sports. I mean, they want as many people coming to that app as possible.
Yeah. But they'll only have 5 races, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
5 on TNT, 14 on the front end on Fox, 14 on the back end on NBC.
Taxable write-off.
But still $7.7 billion.
They ain't getting the money back on that.
Salt Lake will host the 2034 Winter Olympics, and Tiger Woods coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Coverage begins on Golf Channel and on Peacock of him in the Bahamas. It is time for trash. Rockstar, sit down and hit that big button, my friend.
Put it in reverse, Terry. What you doing?
Terry, what you doing?
What
you doing? Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus.
Hey, trash always brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right who do mortgages the right way. Call them today, 205-815-9200. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. We start first.
Wait, you're here for pictures, Rockstar? What are you here for?
Yeah, we got pictures today for Rockstar. Wait till you see how high-tech this system is.
Texas woman facing charges after she allegedly blinded a man with detergent after he refused her demand for $2,000. This is Kaylee Medina, 26 years old. I would have thought that she would look much better than this based on the story. She was arrested earlier this week in San Antonio. She was charged with a felony count of robbery. Court documents indicate that 61-year-old man connected with Medina on a dating app previously known as Seeking Arrangement, in October. Plans were made for a dinner meeting on November 11th, and the encounter went well with, quote, no issues, according to the victim. Now, the Bexer...
How'd your sugar daddy thing go? It went well. It went well.
According to the victim.
Yeah.
Did you wash your hair before you went? Nope, not at all.
No red flags.
Now, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar told News 4SA, quote, what it appears to be is one of these, for lack of a better term, sugar daddy type of sites where people with money meet up with younger people that need money and make some sort of a arrangement to date or what have you.
Yeah, some sort of arrangement. Hey, I can take you for ice cream.
Or dinner. You need a
heard
new
about
carburetor?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
It's like car parts. Like, I need a $500 car part. Well,
I need a handsy.
I tell you what's worth $500 to me.
I got you, buddy.
I think we call that prostitution, but whatever.
Yeah, the victim told police he continued to chat with Medina via text messages following the date, but had no plans of meeting up with her again. Then, on November 21st, Medina allegedly showed up at the victim's house around 2:30 a.m. The man admitted that he allowed Medina to come inside to have some drinks. At some point, while they were conversing, Medina asked him for $2,000.
It happens. It happens.
When the victim told Medina that he, quote, didn't have that kind of money, she became irate. According to police, began destroying the man's belongings, including a television, custom painting, and an entertainment center. When he asked her to stop, she allegedly grabbed some detergent and poured it over his head, getting chemicals in the victim's eyes. She then fled the scene while the man crawled outside. Neighbors heard the man screaming. They contacted police. Responding deputy noted that several items were taken from the victim's home, including a Dyson hairdryer, very expensive, passport, iPhone, and his security camera.
Yeah. One of the scenes in The Recruit I'm watching, they rigged a bag that exploded battery acid into the face of the person opening the bag.
I'll beat you every time.
That was a dead on hit right there.
Yeah.
How about this? We've talked about cruise ships before. The world's biggest cruise ship is now in the hands of its new owner, with Royal Caribbean accepting delivery of the 1,198-foot icon of the seas, this week.
Yeah, I saw this story.
Is
LT,
massive.
over 4 football fields long. It's hard to imagine.
The 20-deck, 250,000-ton ship officially handed over to the cruise company at the Meyer Turku shipyard in Finland on November 27th.
Those water slides.
Its inaugural voyage is set to depart from Miami on January 27th and will tour the Caribbean for 7 days. According to the news release, it took them 900 days to build. Icon of the Seas has capacity to hold a whopping 7,600 guests and 2,300 crew members, nearly 10,000 people, the population of a small town. They said it's got 40 bars and dining options.
Yeah. Never been on a cruise.
20 decks, 7 pools, 6 water slides, and it's 5 times larger than the Titanic.
Okay.
That was a very popular boat in the early 1900s.
Did it sink?
So how much bigger than the Titanic?
5 times.
5 times
I would
bigger.
actually, I'm not a cruise guy. I would go on this one.
Okay, but late. Now do the math. Okay, almost 7,500 guests.
Mhm.
And how many dining options?
40 bar and dining options.
7 pools, 20 decks, 6 water slides.
So 7 pools, and that's about 1,000 people a pool.
No, I think they've taken into account. I think you'll be fine here.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't do 7 days. I would do a 2-day cruise. If they've got a 2-day, I would do a 2-day.
Well, you don't get, to me, part
Don't
of
even leave the port.
part of
Just
park it.
Fine too.
Yeah,
Throw
part,
that damn anchor down. It's staying.
part of the cruising experience is getting off the boat. Like if I remember the ones I've been on, I've only been on 2. There's only 2 days that you're just at sea.
Yeah, I disagreed. I thought the days at sea were better than getting off at the ports. Because you can go to any of those ports anytime you want.
Yeah, but I like doing it one day, sort of the USA Today of traveling. Just one day in Roatan instead of taking a whole week there.
Florida woman has found herself behind bars after she allegedly stabbed her boyfriend with rabies needles because he was looking at other women.
Oh, looking at other women.
Sandra Jimenez.
Have you ever been to Okinawa, right, Star?
It's a great place.
Yeah.
Great shirt.
Sweatshirt. I've been to
I
Okinawa.
can't see her. There she is.
Yeah, Okinawa.
Boy, I don't blame him for staring at other women. Sandra Jimenez, 44, arrested and booked into jail on a charge of aggravated battery. Now, the alleged incident happened Saturday at a home where she lives with her boyfriend. The two have reportedly been together for 8 years.
I don't see why she's upset. I'm questioning his eyesight. I don't know what he's seeing.
Were called to the hospital after a man showed up there and said he'd been stabbed in the eye with a needle. After speaking with the man, police discovered that Jimenez allegedly used their dog's rabies needles to pierce her boyfriend's right eyelid.
Oh, so it's to prevent rabies on the dogs as opposed to it's got rabies in it. Like his eye didn't start foaming, right?
It's going to be the needles.
They had an argument, quote, about him looking at other women. Jimenez allegedly jumped on the man while he was lying on the couch, stabbed him.
Oh, no.
She then left the house when she, quote, realized what she had done. Man called police. He was transported to a local hospital. When police asked her about what happened, Jimenez said the man's injuries were, quote, self-inflicted.
So from these 2 stories, these 2 love stories, which would you rather have? Which is worse, being stabbed in the eye with a rabies needle or having detergent blown over your head?
Yeah, the detergent.
Yeah, I'll go with the
I
detergent.
feel like I can shower that off eventually.
I'd rather have the detergent.
Both are going to get in your eyes. That's going to be a
but
rough
soap
day.
in the eye. I've had that before.
terrible.
Needle in the eye is not not for the faint at heart.
You've had soap in the eye before. You still got both your eyes. Needle in the eye.
Don't know what's going to happen.
That's right.
So I like the fast casual chain Chopped. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I've been there.
I think it's good.
I've been there too.
Dunaway doesn't like anything, so not shocking.
I think it's overwhelming. It's a panic attack. Do you want grilled chicken, fried chicken, what kind of lettuce?
I think
I'm sorry.
It is a quality salad. I think it's very good.
I like that chicken tinga salad.
Yeah, it is good. Customers filed a lawsuit against the fast casual chain Chopped over a salad that she says contained a piece of the manager's finger.
The manager? How do we know it's the manager?
Now, the lawsuit filed Monday.
His had a ring on it, said manager.
By Allison Kazi of Greenwich, Connecticut, alleges that she bought a salad, the Chopped location in Mount Kisco, New York, on April 7th. Realized while she was eating it, she was, quote, chewing on a portion of a human finger.
Oh.
Now, according to the suit, manager at the restaurant accidentally severed a piece of her left pointer finger while chopping arugula. The manager went to the hospital, but the contaminated arugula was served to customers that included Kazi. I'm going to say this is going to turn into a class action suit.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So
they lived up to the name, though, didn't they? Take us to break, Scott.
It was Chopped. So I ordered the grilled chicken, not the finger, and I wanted the ranch, not the raspberry vinaigrette.
Now, Kazi said in the lawsuit she suffered injuries including shock, panic attacks, migraine, cognitive impairment,
Oh,
nausea, dizziness,
yeah,
almost
neck,
died.
shoulder pain.
vomiting. Yeah, you got that one.
Now, she is seeking unspecified monetary damages. I think chops are popping up all over. It's going to be a 6-figure settlement.
Probably so. Probably
Yeah.
so.
I'd eat a finger for $100,000.
Wow, man. Oof.
Maybe part of a finger.
Yeah, it's gonna take you a while to forget that.
It does sound like it was just the chewy tip.
Yeah, I doubt it was like a big
Yeah.
knuckle lump.
She wasn't eating it like a rib.
Something I've never wondered, but how many calories do you burn when you fart? Rockstar has given us this.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
we'll
guess.
find out.
I'm gonna say 3 calories.
I should be super thin.
According to Tanya Frerich, New York-based nutritionist, registered dietitian, she says that you don't burn any.
Oh,
zero.
Rockstar.
So it's
You're
just
gaining weight.
it's a bunch of hot air.
Ah,
Well, the good question is what happens when you have to and you kind of hold it? It sucks back up. What happens? What's
I'm
going
gonna say
on there?
you burn more calories doing that.
Makes your hair fall out.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in a problem.
I thought you didn't battle it.
No, I did.
Rockstar says his don't stink.
No, I'll tell you when they do. Like I can tell when it's released. I can tell Scott and all them behind me. I was like, that's going to be a bad one.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Tyler used to be behind me. I go, Tyler, I am sorry. That's going to be a bad one.
Well, I'll tell you, Bullet's got some bad ones.
Oh, dog
dog farts
is
are the worst.
Yeah, and they're always
Awful.
silent.
Yeah, I know.
Well, because they don't have cheeks. They don't have something.
And-
Oh,
No,
there's
I get that, but I mean, imagine if you have a dog that's got gas and you're like watching a movie with, a first date.
Oh, and a dog will crop dust you in a heartbeat
Yeah.
too. Like they're all the way across the room, and you're like, oh gosh.
Yeah, sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah.
Not me, I promise. And then once you say that, it's you.
Guilty dog barks first.
That is
right.
trash. That's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, again, buying a home, major milestone in life, getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with Mortgage Right, 205-815-9200 or mortgageright.com/TNR.
And that's our show today. Tomorrow we're in Atlanta. So we should have a full 3-hour show tomorrow in Atlanta for SEC championship weekend. Georgia and Alabama this weekend for what seems to be an automatic berth for Georgia if they win, and a much debated berth for Alabama if they win. The tide in the public perception seems to be turning the wrong way for Alabama if they win. The discussions out there, but at least 2 of us still believe that Alabama's in with a win, and Georgia's obviously in with a win. So we'll talk more about that big game and set the table in Atlanta tomorrow. Don't forget Bud Light game night tonight at Crestwood Tavern. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.